looking at the Google chat. Like, can you post a message?
Sure.
Like I just said hi. Can you see that?
I said hi now.
Hey,
No
Travis, when you're done, I have a question.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so you see the pictures?
Nothing.
Okay, well, someone said I see them.
Sorry, it's just probably
Yeah.
Google.
The icon in our chat that says no name. It's just a zodiacal icon.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, that's I'm sorry." He said, "I see them," so I don't know what to tell you.
I see the picture.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say anything. There's one that's a crescent, and you can totally see the entire moon.
Yeah, the only thing I see is I'm sorry, joined group chat. That's the last thing I see, and then my message I sent in there. That's it. Sorry.
That's what I see as well.
That's weird. Okay, so
Yeah.
Brandon,
Can you type a message into chat? Can you type a message into chat?
Or can you just present it?
No, because I'm on my phone.
Can someone else present it?
Wait.
I'm on my phone too.
I'm on a laptop, but it's 2:27 a.m. and I'm about to go to bed.
2:27 a.m. and you're in a.
I see.
Oh, you know what? I can see your photos on my mobile phone.
Okay.
Hey, Travis?
Yeah.
I just downloaded that app, though, and I'm pointing at the sky and the moon. Well, it says right there close next to the sun.
Right.
And I have a clean sky, and man, I mean, I understand what he's saying. It will be hard, but it doesn't make any sense.
Well,
It's not hard. It's impossible.
If you've got a clear sky, and I don't right now, if you've got a clear sky, then in 2 or 3 hours, look again and see how much farther away the moon is, because according to. Go ahead.
So I have a question here. Anybody on the other side of the planet, as how they say, can they see the moon right now?
Well,
that would be nice to.
Yeah.
What side of the planet are you on, mate?
Huh?
What side?
I'm right here I'm in West Memphis right now.
Yeah, well,
I'm in Michigan. Where's the moon supposed to be?
I'm in Melbourne, Australia.
The sun is right above me.
Actually, the sun is. I'm gonna tell you right now. Yeah, it's right above me. The sun.
The moon's underneath me, and so is the sun.
Actually, it's not, but I understand what you're saying.
No, I mean literally, the sun is right above me.
Yeah, Brandon, what were you going to ask me earlier?
Yeah, so thank you, Travis, for bringing me back to that. But is there pictures that anyone has of the not full moon, the not illuminated side of the full moon, or less than full moon, being visible? Because I have never seen that in my whole life, and I don't think it exists. And if it does, I'd love to see it.
Well, if I understand your question, and I've just posted one in the group chat.
I mean, being visible, but still in the dark.
Yeah, like a half moon. Like you see the half moon during the day,
right?
And you can only obviously we only see a crescent or a half moon. Can we see the other side that's supposed to be not illuminated?
I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. This is why I brought up the question of why don't I see a black disc? Because people are telling me I shouldn't be able to see it against the black sky. But the sky that night wasn't that dark for a night sky. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It just wasn't as black as it usually would be. And the moon was up there and it was clear. I'm waiting for the bus and I'm staring at this thing. And the light was just like a slight crescent, but I can clearly see the rest of the moon that was supposed to be in the dark. That was in the dark. And it just looked like a black sphere.
Well, Nathan, Travis, you said you shared that. Nathan, maybe it might not be a bad idea to show that picture. If
I
that's the-
I just sent it to you personally because I can find your icon in the group chat. So I just clicked on you and said send a message. So if you go into your Google Hangouts, you should have a message from me.
I saw which chat you mean now, because yeah, Google. Yeah, I see those pictures. Yes, I also posted a link in there which actually describes very aptly what's going on in there, and it shows one of those pictures where you can see it's they're exactly doing that. They're doing a long exposure, and you see how the bright side is blown up. You can't really see much of it, but you can see the features of the moon on the other side.
Well, that's amazing. That's something we're not taught in school. Thanks for sending that to me, Travis. I'll check it out. I'll be quiet.
Yeah. I mean, but I've seen it before. I just never think about it. You know what I mean? But ever since Flat Earth, I've started looking at stuff, and so yeah.
Well, I mean,
And
we
I
all
was
know
fascinated
obviously
because
that thing is
sometimes you
right up
don't
there.
see it.
Hold on,
Because
Brandon.
that's the other fascinating thing. Sometimes you don't see it like that. That's why that night when I was looking at it, I'm like, holy shit. Because it was so clear. Like it was, oh my God. I don't even know. It was so clear. And sometimes you don't see it like that. And
Yeah, but
that's
it
crazy.
only pretty much happens when it's in those border regions.
Hey
because
guys,
of
I
how
want to go to
geometry
bed.
works.
Sorry
Alright,
guys,
see
got
you,
to go to
Waz.
bed.
Please go ahead.
Stay flat, folks.
Bye, Waz.
See you later.
Later, man. Later.
See you. Are we still live?
No.
No.
Nah,
Long
man.
not.
We haven't been live for like a half hour, 40 minutes now.
Oh,
Something
I
like
was
that.
wondering. Okay.
Yeah, Nathan's been gone. It's just
okay.
us.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So Brandon, are you heliocentric or flat Earth or what?
Oh my God, dude. No, I'm totally flat Earth. There's
Okay.
well, let me hold on, Travis. Let me answer the question because I was on TFR live with Jeranism like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And if you guys want to know about me, you can go check
Okay.
that episode out.
Yeah. Okay. So was that raw?
Yeah, Raw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
but I got quite the story. I don't know if anybody's interested, but I'm happy to tell it if
Sure.
you guys want to listen to it.
Well, here,
Why
let me interject real quick just to say, if there's a way that I can ask my question about this app situation better, just kind of think through that and say, okay, Travis is asking the right question, but he's not coming at it from the right direction or right perspective or whatever. So if you guys can think of a way for me, because like, again, my buddy in high school thinks I'm a complete basket case. He thinks I should be institutionalized.
I mean, I understand
Yeah.
the question. I don't,
Yeah, you can.
I don't,
All right.
you
You
know,
go by that. I get the
it's a
same
really,
shit.
it's a really basic common sense question. Like this app is telling me where the moon is supposed to be, which is in front of the sun. So when I look up in the sky, which would be the point of the app, I'm supposed to see the moon in front of the sun.
But it's
So
not.
I don't see. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's not. It's very simple.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay, Brandon, go for it.
So, you guys hear me? Sorry about that.
Yep.
Yeah, you
Somebody
broke
was
it.
calling me.
yeah.
Yeah,
you're
so
better
about
now.
2013, I quit my job at General Dynamics, and I just didn't quit. I sent a letter of resignation to the president of the company down in Virginia, D.C., saying that I quit because of military action in Iraq, and I'm Iraq versus a U.S. veteran. I was engaged in training mercenaries over there and told that I was training police, and I got out of it then. So I discovered the flat earth through just questioning everything because of that.
One question. How?
Huh?
I mean, I understand, and I applaud you actually for standing up for your principles and saying those guys lied to me, saying I'm training police and I'm training mercenaries. I would hopefully do the exact same thing as you did. But what does being lied to by a big company and quitting your job against stand-up action translate to flat Earth?
So once you start questioning one thing about what you're taught in school and what your establishment and your society and your culture pushes you into, tells you that's virtuous, then you are open to questioning everything else.
But neither one of those things had to do with your job. Did you learn your job in school, or did they tell you? I'm just trying to understand.
I
It doesn't
understand.
have, my job
what
did
he's
not have-
saying.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Oh, go ahead, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, please
I-
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I understand what Alethium is saying because it's almost like a non sequitur. It's like,
Yeah.
My job was lying to me, and then I discovered flat Earth. Well, those two things don't necessarily correlate. So I guess, Brandon, the
But-
question is, were there other aspects of your questioning truth that led into flat Earth? Or
Yes, thank you.
okay,
So it's kind of like, you guys ever heard that old, street talk of once you pop, you can't stop.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
once you realize that those you look up to and love and trust and are supposed to be telling you the truth are not telling you the truth, then you kind of start looking at everything else. I would have never questioned anything if I had not been sent to war under false pretenses. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the connection. So that led me to just start looking into everything. I ran into gatekeepers. I ran into Glenn Greenwald and what's his name that went to Russia and all those guys. Alex Jones. I was on the Alex Jones show. I apologize for the Iraq War on Russia television, and that kind of it just sunk into me that I don't know the truth. I don't know the truth anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it leads you down a rabbit hole, basically.
Right.
It's
Right.
disillusionment. It's a normal thing.
Yeah, but not everybody goes through that. That's the thing. If everything goes perfectly for people, they never think of what could
Yeah.
be wrong. What could be wrong?
It's either that.
depends.
It's
I mean,
either that or to be able to critically think about something. Because
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
first
I mean-
time I was in New York for 9/11, I was in Manhattan, so I went through that and then got out of it, and then went home, kind of like everybody else, just fucked up. Thankfully, I actually went home, right, and just what I started to see on television just didn't make sense to me. And, I had heard of conspiracies and things like that before, but I didn't really think much about it. But as soon as, now I've got the news telling me that, a plane flew into the Pentagon, and I'm looking at that hole and I'm saying, that's not a plane that made that hole. There's no way that is what the story is. I'm thinking, all right, maybe this is just preliminary. They'll fix the story, change it somehow, find out what it was, or it was an actual missile or something. I don't know. But they're still today telling you that it's a plane that flew through that building when there's
Yeah.
no way.
I don't know how they
I
can
work.
say that with a straight
I
face.
worked at the airport. I've worked with planes, very up close and personal.
Have you seen a plane barrel into a highly reinforced concrete structure before? I don't, but I'm asking.
How to the way that it would just disintegrate into nothing.
Would it,
Have,
would
but
it,
have you seen
would it
this
be more
happen
extreme
before?
than burrowing into the ground? You can
No,
still
what
see
I'm asking
wings
is-
and engines when they burrow into the ground on the side of a
No.
mountain.
The acceleration of the body is actually.
You're
more
saying
like
so what
if
you're
it's on
saying
the
to me
ground.
right now is there's something I might not have seen that would explain how it was a plane that went into that building.
Yeah, please
It's
show
it's
it.
a it's an extreme situation.
It was a plane with a wingspan of about 157 feet,
You know, okay, look,
something
this
like
is
that.
just like
That made a hole 60 feet wide.
yeah, yeah, this is
Yes.
just
That
like a flat Earth discussion where it's a tertiary issue. The issue is not whether or not an airplane went into the building. The issue is the building falling at free fall
Yeah, Travis
and
is right.
disintegrating
What?
into itself.
No, he's
oh
right.
yeah, that's
Okay, that's
another ball of
two
wax.
different things.
The Twin
That
Towers. I'm talking about the Pentagon itself.
oh,
Yeah,
what? Oh no,
that's
I
why we were
didn't.
talking about.
Right.
Oh,
That's what I mean.
see,
The building's
All
falling.
I'm
That's
saying,
just another just
exactly.
ridiculous thing.
No, that Pentagon, that was an assassination. There were some people in there they wanted to kill, period. I mean,
I
come
do
on,
not
think
know
about
what
it from a
happened.
military mindset. They killed some people they wanted to kill, period.
Yep.
Pretending to throw a airplane filled with people on it seems to me a little bit an extreme way to do it. But anyway, what I'm saying is, it's an extreme situation, and none of us,
Because that's a
have.
brilliant military tactic. That is a
Yeah.
PSYOP
No.
101.
That's
Okay? Do you
Most
understand?
brilliant
Do you understand
non-operation.
psychological operations when you say that?
actually I do.
seems
Yes.
extreme. That is
The-
the definition of psychological operations. Seem
No.
extreme.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Really?
Science has
No?
nothing to do with something like this.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Am I wrong, Chocolate? Seem extreme.
So, the thing I'm getting at here is I don't know what happened, and I'm not pretending to know. I do. So the only thing is, has something happened there, something extreme, something we have as a collective humanity not really experienced with. We haven't seen someone trying to plow a airliner into a highly reinforced building like the Pentagon is. So considering all that, right, we can't really tell what the shape of this hole is or not, because, well, we haven't seen this before, right? We can simulate it.
And that's exactly why
But
it worked for so long for so many people.
But we can't.
Because we can't assume that it isn't exactly how it was shown because we weren't critically thinking. We were listening to what we were told. That's why we have different opinions now, because
We
we
can't
actually
be
started
fools.
thinking about it.
We
I don't
cannot
understand why that's
verify
hard.
where we don't have the exact plans.
No, who was
That's
that
the
just
biggest
speaking up?
problem.
What was your name that just responded?
I'm sorry.
What's your name?
Me?
I'm sorry, literally. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Guys, I'm sorry, and I'm a lithium.
A lithium, and I'm sorry. Guys, just think about it. I mean, from a military operation perspective, we got to think from that perspective because all of this stuff is being done from a military perspective. Science, technology, the shape of the earth, all of it is military secrets. You have to understand that. And I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm just saying these are operational. The land is not the territory. The map is not the territory. If you don't know the territory, you can't win a war.
Okay, so let's assume that. Okay, let's assume that. So if that is the actuality of what's happening, just completely assuming that's 100% correct what you said. If that is what's happening, why can we do certain experiments that correspond to very simple experiments actually that corresponds to a publicly known model?
Because they can't control us at the micro level. They control things at the macro level through media, education, technology, etc.
But again, then what's the end game?
Hey D, let me ask you this.
Remain control.
Yes, please.
Go ahead, Chocolate.
No, it's this zero. Do you think we're free? Like in this world, do you think we are free?
This question is as broad as, do you think we breathe or think? Can you maybe be a little bit more specific as this?
What's your definition of free?
Well,
Yeah, for example.
Well, what I mean by this is that
Yep.
you cannot go nowhere without giving an answer of what you're doing to the government. It's that simple. You cannot go anywhere in this plane.
I can.
Yeah, that's not freedom.
I can.
You can? No, you can't. You
Sure.
may.
Okay.
When you travel, hold on. When you travel, you gotta give your passport. Anywhere you go,
So
they know
that
where
means
you
no
are.
freedom?
Of course,
So
man.
just because I have to
Of
show my
course.
passport, that means I have no freedom.
Of course. You cannot travel freely to whatever you want. You may think, bro. You may think. See, that this is a problem. Your mind is in a cage already.
Zero. Yeah, zero.
You think you?
Listen, Aletheum.
You're from the States, right? Just a question. You're from the States, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Your passport has about a third of the possibilities to go without any problems whatsoever than my passport has. So yeah, you,
No.
in comparison to me, are not free
Okay, Aletheum.
in that regard. Just
Aletheum.
saying to
Aletheum.
give you the perspective. Yes, please.
That's true.
Do you have to register your vehicle to drive?
Do I have to?
He
register
doesn't
my
get
vehicle?
it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, can you drive your vehicle on your streets in your country without registration?
Depends on the vehicle.
Okay, can you drive any vehicle you would like without permission?
What country is he in, Travis?
No.
Okay, you're not free.
Okay, so just so I understand you correctly, right? Because I cannot get behind the wheel of a what would you say, 18-wheeler, like big truck, right, with 50 tons of cargo behind it or something. So because I'm not, the local law does not allow me to do that without me having to first show that I can actually handle the damn thing. Because of that, I'm not free.
That's correct.
No.
No,
Okay,
I mean,
you say yes, you
no.
say no. I don't know what I'm talking
No,
about.
because because he changed. No, because hold on. Hold on.
Please show my info.
He changed it by saying you're driving a big ass truck with cargo on it. That's different than driving a regular car, because with a cargo you put a lot of people in danger or stuff like that. I'm a truck driver though, so I know what I'm talking about, regardless of the truck, you know.
So you put less people in danger for a normal car than a truck?
No, hold on. There's multiple straw men going on here. Listen, what does freedom mean?
Not a single one.
Period. Okay, and the bottom line is we should be free to travel on this earth, which we have all inherited from who knows who the fuck who. However we.
I'm gonna give you an example really clear.
Yes,
I agree with that statement.
There's so many land, empty land. You cannot build a house anywhere you want.
No,
you can.
Because people have staked it out. They're territorial.
Yeah.
Because what?
Because people are territorial.
Not even that. Even if you find people that try to go off the grid, and literally the grid finds them.
Well, there's no doubt we're living under a matrix, right?
Okay, now we're talking about three different things at once.
Sorry.
No, it's all freedom. It's all freedom.
I interrupted.
Brandon, can you state again what you said just a minute ago after you said something about straw men, and then Chocolate said that he agreed with you. Do you remember what you said?
I said that there's multiple straw men that we're talking about, which is one, that freedom means whatever we define it as, and the other thing is,
I didn't say that.
We should be.
No, who said that?
I didn't say you said that. I'm saying we on this earth, we're living on this earth. Here's the bottom line, Travis. Okay, I can't remember exactly what I said, but we should be.
No,
free.
what I agree with was when you said
go ahead.
We got it came inherited from whoever, whatever the fuck.
Exactly. That's what.
That's-
that's what the bottom
That's
line
what I
is.
agree with.
Yeah, but
There's
I need
no
you to,
firepower.
right. I need you to restate that now, Brandon, in your own words, because Chocolate just kind of summarized
Yeah, I'm
what it
sorry.
was. He
All
didn't
right.
say it
Here's the
specifically.
bottom line.
All right.
When we crawl upon this earth, there is no higher power than the one that we know as truth. And the word freedom has been completely perverted to mean something controlled by the government. We are always free. No matter what sword we meet upon the road, they are not our authority.
This is really simple, AD. Try to build your own power, like to extract energy in your house, and they don't allow you.
I know.
Sure.
We are definitely
If I build a
slaves
nuclear
to
reactor,
higher
someone would
power.
come along, yes. But an actual generator, I build 2 turbines for water extraction, for water energy extractions. I build a wind turbine, and I built 1 gas-powered from an old moped.
Yeah.
Nobody
your
came
home?
along and told me I can't do that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I've got a generator built down in my basement that will produce more power than.
Well,
Yeah.
generators are different. I think that the illegal thing is
wait.
by wind, I think, or something like that.
What?
No.
You just said power generation.
Generators
You
are
can specify more.
generators are different because you have to buy the generators from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I built them
No,
myself.
a power generator is different. I'm talking about like a wind energy thing, or
Yeah,
if you put
window.
it in your house, they don't allow you. Yeah, they don't allow you.
No problem.
Hold on, Travis. Did I answer your question when I restated my position? I don't know.
Not really. It didn't seem to make as much sense to me as it did to Chocolate, but that's not a big deal. I just, yeah. I mean, think about this again. Think about, does a doctor have the freedom to heal a patient with natural remedies? No,
he does.
No.
No. He does
doesn't.
in reality. Within the straw man of legality, he may be limited.
Please
But
don't use
everyone
strawman
is
in that
free.
term.
In other words, in the medical system, no, but in real life,
No,
yes.
exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, you don't need to be put on these drugs and all this other crap. Or just have some natural, you know, go eat some fruit or something like that. They don't make money that way.
It's
So
hard for me
they're not
to
going to
argue.
promote that type of thing. You know what I mean?
It's hard for me to argue this because the system we have here is that
Where are
health
you?
insurance is mandatory.
Where are you?
And having weapons is a privilege.
Go
and in
eat
the United
some
States,
fruit.
it's the exact opposite.
He's in Ukraine.
Can you eat fruit where you are?
Hey,
Please
Ethereum,
don't
are
insult
you
your own
in-
intelligence with this question.
Hey, Ethereum, are you in Ukraine?
Yeah, it's
Are you
'cause
in
it
No,
can't
I'm not in the
be
Ukraine.
Mars.
I'm
Where are
in
you at?
Central Europe, and that's good enough for all of you.
Central Europe. Okay.
Poland. Are you in Poland?
One,
No, he said
I'm not
Central
saying-
Europe.
two,
Central
Oh,
Central Europe is
Europe.
close enough.
Okay.
3, you should update your geography.
All right, very funny.
Okay?
But what country are you in?
Which part of me not telling you more than Central Europe
Okay,
is...
I'm in Michigan.
or
I'm in the
consent?
city of Davison right now. I'm
Good for
not
you.
hiding anything. Why are you hiding what
Also good for
country
you.
you're in?
Exactly. I was thinking the same. I mean, what's the problem with saying? I mean, come on, man. Just you're in a my God.
Asking-
Maybe he's
Oh,
in
whatever.
Simone,
Maybe he's in
tell you
Israel.
all
I'm
the
not-
flaws with my country. You know all the flaws with my country. I'm in a shit country. Right?
Look,
As far as laws go. What
That's all
country-
right. He don't need-
I happen to be not entirely unknown on the internet.
Are you in Luxembourg?
So because of that, you might understand why I don't feel comfortable with
so this
sharing
is-
to everyone
You're in Luxembourg.
where exactly I am, right?
Are you
Oh,
in
that's
This is
fine.
alter
I'm-
ego.
My privacy, you can understand that? That I
Yes.
value
I
my
do.
privacy?
Yes,
Oh,
of
good.
course.
And
As long
That's
as it's
that.
for a good reason. What is the good reason?
Exactly.
Though? Tell us the good reason.
there's a lot of crazy people on the internet.
Us?
There,
No,
yeah.
I
There's
didn't
only-
say you.
No, I mean,
Yeah, but
but the
there's only
people.
Have you-
listening
have you
to this
seen
live
the-
stream,
there's only
How
6
many
Have you
people
seen the
are
people
listening
running
to this
around
live
out there?
I know, but how many people are listening to this?
So,
Nobody's
AD,
listening to this
guys?
right now. Nobody's listening to this. It's just
Hey,
us in
AD.
here.
Yes.
I have a question still.
This is
Because
just so you know,
shows,
this is not live or anything.
Yeah.
The,
I know.
the show is ended.
I do not care.
and
No.
And,
you're very intelligent. I want to know where you're from. What is the problem?
Look,
All right,
if we
don't tell us
if
where
we were
you're
sitting
from.
in a bar right now, all of us together, I would give you the exact
let
same
me-
answer.
let me ask.
We're in the bar together.
I'm just saying.
I
would
still
give you the
have a
exact same answer.
doubt.
Yes.
I still have a doubt. Since the moon and the sun are up here on this side of the of your belief is a ball, is there no moon? There's no moon on the other side.
I did not specify what I believe in. Just
If
to
you-
be absolutely clear about that.
If you're into
Um,
freedom, you should respect people's privacy. That's a tenet
Well,
of freedom.
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, but all your arguments have been on favor of the ball. So, I mean,
No, all
it's
I
a
have
fair
said
assumption, you
is
know.
a heliocentric model. I have only said that's the
But-
model. I only
Well, by
explained
my
the model.
assertion, it was only fair, you know, because all I hear from you is like excuses for the ball. So that was. So if you don't believe that, I apologize. I apologize.
No
I didn't
problem.
know. So
No offense taken.
And,
Absolutely not. All I'm trying to is understand actually the arguments of the flat Earth model.
yeah, no. Well, my
That's
question was that if
I'm not biased towards any of them. I'm just having troubles finding people to actually talk to about the flat Earth model, who are not immediately trying to silence me on their chat or something like that, which happened today.
the problem is when you put the word model on flat Earth, and because we're still learning and we're trying to figure out what's going on. So
That's
when
perfectly fine.
people, yeah, exactly. So but people come in the chats and they want like proofs, and I mean we're still figuring out. We know for a lot of things that they say about the ball, we know that it's not true. That's the thing.
That's one of the
That's a
things that I'm
problem.
interested in as well. But that's not here or there. What were you trying to
it's
ask
like-
before?
It's like right now this question, like for me, this
Yes.
is a doubt. If I have the sun and the moon up here on the same, I mean, it's showing that they are together right here, right now.
Yeah, they're up here too.
I'm in the United States, so in the other side of the world, is there a moon or there's no moon or what's going on down there?
The sun and the moon
That-
are up. It's pretty close. It's above my neighbor's roof right now, so it's going down because it's about 7-ish. Yeah, it's 7 here right now. 7 p.m.
Is night? Is night already? You can like it's
No,
it's
daylight.
dark. It's daylight.
It's summer.
Oh, okay.
It's summer. And I
Uh,
cannot
so-
see the moon with my eyes because all I see is the glaring sun.
Oh.
So
No. But okay, I don't know if I'm not explaining myself. My question is, is
I
there?
can see it. It's there. Yes.
My question is there a moon on the other side, or there's? Because the moon is up here. For what the app is telling us.
Yeah.
So-
I just said it's the same thing here.
So the logical conclusion is that there's no moon on the other side, right? That's what I'm
No,
trying to say.
I said 3 times that it's the same here. I can see with the app that the moon is relatively close to the sun.
I think what he's asking is the there's confusion here. Zero. What is exactly are you trying to establish?
Yeah,
Because
I don't understand.
Because if you're seeing the moon on one side of the Earth and the Earth is a ball, you shouldn't see it on the other side, right?
right. So Aletheum.
Yeah.
cannot
So my
see the
question is, since we have the moon and the sun up here right now, because
I do
the
too.
app says it. So on the other side of the ball, can people see the moon?
No.
No.
I
So
can't
there's
see
nothing
it
on the other
as long
side.
as you can see it.
No, I'm okay. No, I don't. I'm not explaining
I
myself.
cannot- okay.
On the dark
can I
side,
try?
on
Can I
the
try?
dark. Hold on the dark side of the Earth, is there a moon right now? Right now.
No.
Okay.
That is a very good question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
From everything I can think of this right now, I would say no.
So
But don't
So
hold me to
here's
it.
my thing. I would like a person that lives right now where it's dark on the other side or whatever to tell
Didn't you
me
have
if
someone from
he can
Australia
see
here?
the moon.
Where are you at, Zero? Sorry, I lost the
I'm
thread somewhere.
I'm driving right now. I'm in Missouri right now.
Missouri. Okay.
So
Yeah,
United
my
States,
level.
I'm in Europe, I can see it. So we would have someone from Australia, pretty much.
Wait, Alathium, you can see the moon with your own eyes right now?
No, I can't.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I'm saying. I
Okay.
cannot see it because it's so close to the sun, it blinds me.
No,
What I can
moon
do is use that same app you used before, that Skyview app, and I can see on the app the moon is close to the sun.
Okay,
Can I ask a question? There is nowhere on Earth right now you can see the moon, right?
That's my question. That's my question. The question is, if somebody, okay, here's what I'm trying to get. If somebody on the dark side of the Earth can see the moon right now, then there's something wrong with the model we're being presented.
Okay, so here you go. Are you ready? At 5 o'clock in the morning, we had no moon, which means 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, the eastern United States had no moon. It didn't come up over the horizon until 6 o'clock.
6 a.m.
Right.
Right? Okay.
Right. So there have been situations where I've been looking for the moon and it's not in the sky. So if it was 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock or whatever, I didn't have a moon. Now, I don't necessarily always think about the significance of that, but I think that's what Zero is getting at in terms of, and that's what I did one time, Zero. I have a friend in Australia, and I asked him if he could see the moon at the same time I could, but my moon, actually, let me think about that. I think I might have posted that on Facebook. But the moon was far into the west, so it was close to him proximately in terms of the way we might think about the heliocentric model, right? So my moon was far into the west, which means for him it would be far into the east low on the horizon.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Right. So
overhead, somewhere there, yeah.
But when I asked him if he could see it, he said yes, he could, and he took a picture with his iPhone. Now that I'm talking about it, I did do that on Facebook once.
And it looked the same to him as it looked to you?
I didn't get into the details. Is that the most recent detail I did with that was a friend of mine in California last week, where I took a picture. I think it was 7 o'clock my time and 4 o'clock his time, and the termination lines were different.
And you took it at the same time?
Relatively speaking, he said, "Hey, can you take a picture of the moon?" And I said, "Yeah." And then he goes, "Okay, here's mine." And it was like 15, 20 minutes difference.
Yeah, the termination line shouldn't move that much in that time.
No, I know that.
CID, this is what people need to start doing, like taking, gathering together and trying to figure out, like, okay, I'm in this place, you're in that place, you're in the, how far do we see the sun, and
I've been
in
trying
what
to get
position and all that stuff.
I've been trying to get people to do that forever, but people just ignore it because I'm not a big YouTube star or something like that. So just ignore. I can't even contact most of the people that I'm trying to contact. So it makes it really hard to actually get someone together, right? So even if I try to do it, then I tell them, hey, look, this is the experiment. It's very simple. Everyone can do it. And then people say, like, oh, this is that experiment someone did long ago and it proves nothing. And like, well, then what do you have to lose, right? So it's kind of that kind of thing all the time.
That should tell you how people live their lives, you know, like they don't care. They just don't care.
It's flat earthers.
D Marble did something similar to that, where he had, I think, 3 different people from around the quote unquote world, and they were all supposed to be like in different places, and the sun wasn't supposed to be shining in one of them. I don't remember
No,
exactly.
it was
'cause
completely.
It's been a while since I saw this video.
I've
But
seen that. Not that
you've
re-
seen
not
that.
actually pretty recent. Yes. One was in England, and one was in Australia, I believe, if I'm not entirely
I
mistaken.
think so. Yeah,
And
something like that.
it's still possible to
And
see when one has the sun going down, that the other one can see it coming up. It's completely possible
yeah, but
on a
I think
globe.
the whole point of him doing that was one of those guys, I don't remember which one, was supposed to be in complete darkness, and he wasn't.
No,
You know,
not from what I've
that
seen
was.
in the video.
I mean, if we're
Well,
talking about the
Well,
same
listen.
video,
Why don't we all collaborate together and try to? I mean, we've got 5 people who are in the States, so that's not going to help us out too much.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
so
Hey, Travis, I got to tell
yeah,
you something.
yeah.
Your icon has really nice tits. I'm just kidding. I think that's a
Well,
great idea. I'm
well,
just trying to.
this happened to me. Like, the way I see it, I think the sun is a more local sun. I mean, it's like really. I think that the light that the sun provides is not that big though, and I'm telling you this because the other day I was on Easter time. I was close to Indianapolis, and my friend, he lives in Mexico, right? He's in Central Time.
Yeah.
But judging by the position, he should have sun too, and it was dark already on where he is, and I was
Yeah.
still having I had sun still.
Yeah, regardless of what I just
Like-
said about the Mona Lisa, Travis, why don't you organize us, and we'll conduct this experiment. Those on the call.
Yeah, I mean, we've got someone in Central Europe. Where else? Is there anybody else who's listening, or is there any other location farther east or what?
Nah, I'm in New York, so that doesn't really help.
Okay, so
'Cause we
listen,
got-
I found the picture that my friend took. I'm gonna post them in the chat real quick, and you can see what I'm talking about.
This chat stays up, right, Travis?
I think as long as the last person is alive in the chat, it'll stay alive.
Yeah, as long as you don't delete it or archive it yourself, it will be there.
All right, so here comes the. Oh, that's a.
Because one way you can do it is like set an hour and everybody take a picture of the like the moon or whatever, the sun, or I don't know.
Yeah, at the same
Well,
time.
if you take a picture of the sun, then everyone would have a solar filter for that, because otherwise, yeah, it's a crapshoot.
Maybe we should go with the moon.
It's pretty overcast where I am right now, so I doubt I would see the moon.
Yeah, and I'm
that's a problem.
just about to lose the sun here.
Yeah, it's pretty overcast. All I see is the gray sky.
Yeah,
All right,
same here.
all right. So I just put in the California shot of the moon at 4:00 in the morning, and it's got a termination line that is basically perpendicular.
It's just crazy how that line just changes.
And now here is mine.
You guys should do some research on the how you say the astrology
Okay.
model that the Aztecs had.
Oh, okay,
They had
that's
a
not-
flat plane. They had a flat plane model. And
Yeah, almost all those old civilizations had a flat model.
man, but in Mexico, that it's amazing how they had it, because they knew like exact dates on which part of the mountains the sun was gonna come, so they knew about the tropical of Cancer and all that stuff,
Yeah, man.
and they had the flat model. and they knew about the
I bet you
eclipses
there are
and the movement of the stars.
civilizations. I bet you there are civilizations today that you can find in different parts of the world that if you were to tell them, they live on a ball, they'd laugh at you. Like, what? What are you talking about?
Well, I completely agree that's possible, and I completely agree we had lots of people who had a flat Earth model, we had lots of people who had a globe model, we have even some convex Earth models, we have hollow Earth models, we have tons of models. Even if it's not a model, I'm using it in broader sense, but the thing is, it doesn't really matter which model you have. What's important is the actual observable reality that we have.
Well, I was gonna say that they had a working and observable model.
Oh, you mean that one with the spirograph stuff on the outside?
The what?
I've seen that. It was like a mural, right? Like there's a
famous
picture.
No. That's nothing. I mean, they actually in Mexico because they live like separated. That culture, there's still people that follow all that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
And they still teach those things. Like they don't teach that the Earth is a globe or none of that stuff.
Well, good for them.
Yeah, because that's not all over the world.
Well, the thing is, but what the science says about that people? They say they're like,
they don't know anything.
They don't know anything. Exactly. They were pretty smart, man.
They have
Egyptians,
their own model.
all these.
If it works for them, great. There's no problem with that.
No,
it just doesn't comport to the model for the rest of the world, or most of it. But that's it. I mean, good.
The same way I have problems with the way they consider some civilizations to be, what's the word I'm looking for?
Backwards?
Not backwards, but like I guess less advanced. I mean, take the Egyptians, supposedly, if they supposedly built the pyramids. We can't reconstruct that right now with the technology that we have. They can't make a pyramid the same way that these guys made those pyramids. So how could you call these guys less advanced if we can't even replicate what I mean, come on.
Actually, we can.
Ropes,
but that's
ropes and stones. I don't buy that story for
and
anything.
Ramps.
And ramps, yeah.
The best example. The best example is the Easter Island heads. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah.
The Easter Island heads are all positioned near the shore. There is no rock near the shore. The rock is all up in the mountains, which is quite a distance away. They have recently demonstrated how they did it back then, because the natives of the area said the statues walked there, as the translation goes. And everyone went like, right, you think those things walked. Actually, yes, they walked by rocking it back and forth and pulling it forward. I'm sure if you have ever had something tall and sort of skinny but is heavy, you probably did this on one edge, you tilt it up a bit.
Yeah, you know how precarious that is?
Do that. Yeah, it's absolutely precarious. And they found compaction where actually the path would be for those. They found buried remnants of destroyed ones because they didn't want their gods to be face down in the dirt and things like this. So yeah, they figured out how to do that. It's still primitive to our current way of thinking about things because they didn't do it with, I don't know, one crane or something, or flew them in a helicopter, sure. But it is a huge accomplishment for them.
There's no way to know for a fact, right? We were not there.
That's.
I mean,
just out of curiosity, you buy the story of the pyramids were built with ropes and pulleys and ramps.
You can infer stuff, I guess.
Thousands of slaves.
At this point in time, this sounds like a very reasonable explanation to it. I'm not to be able to say with absolute certainty yes or no. For me, it sounds like a reasonable explanation at this point.
I don't want to go the ancient aliens route, but I don't know. I've always had problems with that story. I don't see how ropes and pulleys can equate the precision that was used to make those pyramids. I don't see.
It's very
I don't
simple.
know.
Actually,
I mean, yeah, sure. I wasn't there. I don't know. I just that story doesn't hold right for me.
Just curiosity. Sorry, it's biting me today. What precision are you talking about? Are you talking about the precision of the orientation of the stones? How the lines are so straight?
I mean, almost all of it. That the alignment of them, because weren't they aligned to like Orion's belt or to some constellation? I think it was Orion's
I don't recall
belt.
anymore, but
but
nice
chocolate. It's not just the alignment. It's the massive size, the location away from quarries. Anyone who argues that those
with the river right outside,
it's ridiculous. Are you making an argument that they were located there by prehistoric people?
I'm saying that this sounds like a completely feasible explanation at this point in time. Again, not an expert.
Who moved them there? Who moved them there? Who moved them there?
People, lots of people.
Lots of people. How many people can move it to a 50-ton stone? How many people does it take?
To the height.
How do you do that?
One person can.
No.
But this.
Have you seen? Okay.
And not only moving these stones up there,
you guys
lining them perfectly together.
Yeah.
Cutting them at that precise. I mean, they don't even have half the tools that we. Well, maybe, who knows? Maybe they did, but
ancient
like the tools that they were using, which is supposedly like I remember from my textbook, it was like a little stone that looked like a knife. And they just carved the pyramids into reality.
There are some really interesting YouTube channels. Ancient Architects is one of them, and some of the stuff they talk about in terms of even moving heavy stones with sonic manipulation is very, very wild.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah,
that.
Let me about stuff. Reproducing things that we know how to do.
AD,
yes, please.
Let me ask you something, man. Do you believe every single thing that has the word science in front of it? Like scientific, they prove this, and scientific that. And
you're asking a bit too wide here. I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Well, yeah, the question. Well, the question is why.
More precise. Can you make it more precise?
Yeah, everything that has science in front of it.
This chocolate is black. That's your question. The whiteness. You're asking me a question
is what?
Okay, please, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's my question, though. Do you believe every single thing that has the word science in front of it?
Again, I cannot answer the
allow
question
me to
that
ask
is this way.
in a different way. Do you believe anything outside what they would teach in a PhD, pick your science course?
I cannot answer that because I am probably the least educated person in this entire round right now. So I have never been to any PhD Kajingamabob. So
are you here looking for knowledge?
So I think the Earth is flat or something.
I don't.
What I'm trying to say.
Either one of those.
What I'm trying
at this point in time.
Okay. What I'm trying to say is when you don't speak.
What I'm trying to say is, if tomorrow somebody says, "Oh, science found that the Earth is flat," you will be like, convert in a snap.
Well, I wouldn't convert in a snap. I would look closely at what they present as evidence, and see if that makes sense. If I could repeat that, if the observation actually, can be cross-checked with other people, and all of that stuff. So. Yes, I would.
Yeah, but
in an instant. But that's the point. It needs to have that burden of proof, and it needs to fulfill that. It needs to be repeatable.
And so here's where we get to the stars and the moon and the sun. They cannot tell you what the distance is between those things.
Yeah, sure we can.
No, we can't.
Have you been to fourth grade geometry?
You
Like,
can
have
bounce.
trigonometry?
We can bounce radar off the
That's
moon.
about the
hold on,
weakest argument anyone ever made.
Have you been to the? I'm sorry. Have you been to the moon?
We can bounce radar off the
No.
moon to determine.
I don't
distance.
care.
Yeah.
Shut up.
This is the problem. I don't care. I don't care how many numbers.
There.
I don't think you understand. I don't care how many numbers you put in front of me. That doesn't prove the distance.
Yeah, but
Okay.
radar
The
bouncing,
only-
radar
Can I-
bouncing
can I-
off the moon proves the distance.
Shut up. Shut
Can
up.
I try to
No,
answer
never
this?
mention the radar off the moon again. Shut up.
Well, we can bounce radar off
Okay.
the moon.
Shut
It's
up.
it's called a moon bounce.
Piece of shit.
Amateur,
Moon bounce. Be quiet.
amateur
Never
radio,
come around here again. Quiet.
amateur hand
Hold on, guys.
radio.
Hold on.
people.
There's a much simpler thing. Okay, I need to ask two small questions before I can ask the real question. Okay, so it all comes together. Okay, first, do you believe in the speed of light as the number that it is, and that it is a constant speed?
No.
No.
Okay, that makes reality a little bit gooey at that point.
But
and-
why?
Oh, yeah?
Why is that? Why
Well,
does that have
well-
to be reality?
Hold on.
Because
Hold on. I
because
will
somebody,
believe it when
somebody told you that that's the speed of light. Somebody theorized
actually
that that's
measure
the
it.
speed of light.
No, you
Say
can actually
again?
measure
Well,
it.
you know,
We
You
can
can
measure
for
the
my
speed of light.
understanding.
Mention
Hold
it
on.
again.
Hold on. For my understanding, not even science tells us what the speed of light is. They change it based on what they need. For what I understand.
No. What we had is
Yes.
first experiments were very crude. And they were actually pretty close, though not close enough for today's standards. So over time, experiments got better, they understood more, and of course they changed their number when they were able to be more precise with their measurements. I mean, that's just common sense, right? I mean, if you tell me right now the sun is 3,000 miles away, and tomorrow you say, oh, we fucked up, it wasn't exactly 3,000, it's 2,973, that wouldn't be bad, because you were very close to the first measurement, but you corrected when you got better data. So that seems completely fine.
And one of the first measurements we got for the distance of the sun was 3 million miles away. And now it's 93. So that's pretty big.
And as the
I
story
don't know where that
goes-
comes from.
And as
Say that again.
Shut up, Osman.
Okay, so it's a little hard to make everything else if you don't believe in the one universal constant we
All right,
have in
Aletheum.
here.
Aletheum, let me ask you a question, because this is what makes sense to me in my kindergarten scientific background. Okay.
Same here. You probably have a better one than I do.
If you and I are in the desert,
Mhm.
and we see a helicopter approaching, and it's nighttime, and we see a helicopter approaching in the distance, and it's got a white spotlight, it's looking for
Okay.
us, right? Because it's looking for us because we're lost or whatever.
Okay.
Can we tell how far away it is?
If it stands still long enough, yes.
How?
Trigonometry. We are two people. If we can
There's only-
measure the
Listen.
if we can measure the
There's
distance
only-
between the two of us, can I please answer?
Yes.
No. Hold.
And I've been kind.
Well,
Please
him
do
answer.
not stress that out. Okay? Okay. So, it's basic trigonometry. We're two. You say we're two people. Alone, I pretty much am fucked. I could try to get it, but together, it's actually possible, even with the thing moving at a not too fast a pace. If we can measure the distance between us, even if we just do it by steps, right? And say, okay, this is a meter or something like that. And we make observations against the sky behind it, and we can see something that we can use as a reference, say the moon or a star or anything else. And we can try to approximate it. We can get a pretty decent measurement of the distance of that helicopter in the sky. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So basically, what I hear you saying is that you have a a former understanding of other distances that you're comparing to, but that
No.
begs the question. No.
No. Hey, wait. Sorry. Wrong. The only distance that I know is the distance between the two of us. That's the only distance I know. And I can measure that.
You brought in
That's the
the
only distance.
stars You brought in the
Yeah,
stars
but I
and
didn't.
the moon.
Wait. But the stars and the moon, they are not there as a distance. I didn't say anything about the distance to the moon or to the stars. They're
How can
only
you measure the
reference points.
distance between yourself and Travis?
Steps. Guess how many? A step is a meter, and
Have you
take that
walked
as a
it?
measurement. It will be completely inaccurate. I grant you that. I cannot say by the meter how far away the helicopter is, but I think I can get it in a ballpark that is better than any other guess. Let's say within 20% of the actual distance, just with back of the envelope calculations.
Is that your
And
only
how?
assumption?
Hold on. And how do you know it's not another star?
Or a jet or anything else. Yeah, sure. I still would be able to calculate the distance. It doesn't matter what it is. It's that
No.
thing in the
You
distance.
see, it like you see the light right there. How do you know it's not just another light, or is a
Zero.
helicopter standing right there?
Right, zero. Okay, so the stipulation, because you're asking this question, we can see its other traffic lights blinking, the red light, the green light. We see that they're blinking.
Oh, okay.
So we know. My point is, we know it's a helicopter because we're lost, and we know they're coming to look for us. But
There's nothing else around us.
My point is, I do not believe you can determine how far away the helicopter is because you do not have enough information.
Okay, and I say
I don't either.
We can get enough information with just the two of us. Alone, it would be much more difficult. With the two of us, it would be possible. Now, here is very, very basic. I'm not going to go into all the math behind it. Don't worry. You can all look that up if you want to. But basic trigonometry, I mean, it works with triangles of any size. It doesn't matter if you write it on a tiny piece of paper or if you plaster it against the wall or if you go all the way to the universe size.
On a sphere?
It still works. Yeah, sure.
No,
I mean, the distances are so small for us in this scenario that it's very, very easy. But in other places, you need a little bit more. Okay, so what we need is
really easy.
Two of us. We need distance between the two of us, and we need the angle that we're seeing between the two of us to the object. And how can we tell this? By having a reference point behind the object to see how far along that is. It's easier if you have images and all that, but you can
just save your breath. Can you put the equation in chat? There's a variable in there that is ridiculous.
No. I want to say something. So how do you know? Because I understand why you everything you just said. I understand where you're going. So my question to this is: so how do you know the object is not bigger and closer, or smaller and farther and more far?
Because
how do you know that?
Matter.
How you determine it?
Yeah.
Because
do you have
it doesn't matter.
G
angle
in your equation. Do you have R or G in your equation?
Sorry, I cannot see the screen right now. And I look.
Do you have the radius of the Earth or the gravity equation?
None of that.
Nothing.
It's a triangle. It's trigonometry. It doesn't have has nothing to do with anything else.
How can you do that on a sphere?
Okay, your question makes not too much sense in this case.
No,
we're talking about the helicopter in the desert.
I understand.
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
Brandon, that's
Clearly,
a great
so
question.
please try again.
What, Travis?
I said that's a great question, man.
I mean, we're supposed to be on a sphere, right?
Yes.
Okay, listen, I'm going to say it real slow because I've said this to numerous people, and I said, okay, here we go. Aletheum. If you and I do straight geometry,
yes,
to determine the distance of our Savior helicopter coming towards us,
yes,
we are going to be incorrect if we do not include the radius of the Earth. We can't do it. Listen, you cannot do it with straight geometry. You cannot.
What I said was...
No.
What I said was we were in a ballpark about a 20%. So the only place where curvature would be applicable would be between the distance of the two of us, correct?
Yeah, I'm bleeding out. That 20% probably means a lot.
But
just about the distance to the helicopter.
The helicopter is up in the sky, so there's no curvature in the air. So we don't care about
unless it's right above
only
you.
Curvature. Can I please finish this? The only curvature that we might be able to apply here is the distance between the two of us. Am I correct or am I wrong?
You're wrong.
I think you're wrong.
Okay,
You're wrong.
where am I wrong?
What if the
Please
helicopter? What if the
demonstrate it to me.
helicopter is 5 miles away, and you can still see the light?
It's still a straight
shouldn't-
line to it.
Yeah, but shouldn't there be curvature between you and that helicopter on the ground? Shouldn't the ground be
Ground
curving
curves.
down?
The air doesn't. There's a
Yeah.
direct line of sight.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
bending my mind. Yeah, this is really interesting, and I think we're having at least for me, there's a conflation of our discussion with perspective and distance and curvature, and the two things are just colliding in my mind right now. It's very, very surreal.
Well,
Travis,
in case you ask for the math, please just ring quick. You ask for the math.
Uh-huh.
Go. I think Astronomy Live was his name. Yeah, Astronomy Live. He did a calculation. He did something with what's this guy? Red Rhetoric, right? That guy. They did an experiment, and the one I would look at the one from Astronomy Live, not the one from Red Rhetoric.
Are you?
He also has some math in it.
Wait.
Astronomy
Hold
Live
on. He did an
explains that.
experiment
Can I please
with
finish
Red's
this?
rhetoric. No, you can't, because you just said Red's rhetoric. Go look at Red's rhetoric work.
Oh man, that guy. Whew.
Are you serious?
Good, great for you. Now look at what Astronomy Live does. That's what I'm saying. Don't
Is
look
he
at Red.
associated
Look
with
at
Red's rhetoric?
He explains the math to you. That math you can find anywhere else, but he explains it straight down the middle, exactly
Sure.
how it works.
Listen.
And
One
that's
of his last
trigonometry.
videos. Hold on, bro.
Sorry?
One of his last videos. You go there and he tells you, "I'm gonna explain you really, really nice." So he starts explaining, and his first assumption is that we live in a ball. That's his first assumption.
No.
From there, yes. You can go to his video.
No.
Yeah, but
You
he's,
can go
he's
to
not.
his video.
He's not trying. He's
So-
a ball believer. He's not trying to come at
So-
it from any other way.
Yeah.
But
That's my point.
Again,
So
you're
everything. Hold on. So everything that you see from that point on, it's coming down from the assumption that we live in a ball. Therefore, it's invalidated.
Okay.
That's it.
So if you can take the math, the trigonometry math, very
We
basic,
don't care
simple
about
trigonometry.
math. We don't give a shit what the math says. Math is not reality, as opposed to what
Exactly.
Red Rhetoric says. Math is not reality.
Okay.
Show us the actual experimental data empirically, independent, dependent
Okay, how can
variable.
I show it to you without math?
Okay.
Yeah, good question. You figure it out, because that might
No,
be your
that's the
question.
point.
You need to
Tell
answer.
me.
That's the
You
$1 million
want the
question.
proof. You want
That's
the proof.
can I
a
not-
$1 million
You have to tell
question.
me.
Yeah,
No,
if I
you
could
have to
answer
tell
that
me.
for you, I'd be a millionaire.
That is the exact point of what we try to bring up. You
But then that's-
just said it. How can we show you this without math?
But
Sometimes
you
we just want to see things in real life and not have an equation explain it to us. That's the problem, man. And
Okay,
then everything that we bring up, you say, "Oh, the math's already been done. Here you go," and that explains it.
No.
Everything that I've brought up,
No.
you haven't questioned anything. Everything to you is.
I would like
is-
to ask questions, but you're trying to
But it doesn't seem like it, though, man. Like just being honest
you're
with you.
asking me questions, and I'm just
I know.
answering to you what the
You
model
seem
is.
like a very friendly gentleman, but we want to know empirically, per the scientific method that we were taught in school, what the proof of the spherical globe speeding, spinning, careening Earth is. Can you answer that question?
I have two things for you, okay? I'd like to make a thought experiment with you a little bit later, because of the spinning and all that. But the very first thing,
please let him
can I please
talk.
finished it. Thank you.
Let him answer. Please let him answer.
So the first thing I would like to do is you ask for empirical things that you yourself can verify. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess everybody agrees. Yeah.
If you can take a protractor, a pen, and what's it called? A
Compass?
straight stick. Oh fuck.
Mhm.
Anyway, what's it called? A ruler. Yes, a ruler. You can take a ruler and a pen and on a piece of paper draw 1,000 triangles, and you can measure them and you can do the calculations according to the formula, and you always get, yes, the result is correct. And then you do the same with
because you have a formula.
Yeah, trigonometry is has a couple of very simple formulas.
Yeah. Okay.
If you do that, can I please finish it? If you do that, and then you apply it to something larger, and it still works, and then you apply something gigantic like our helicopter in the desert, or the distance to the moon, or the ISS.
But that's
no.
If you have a formula, it's going to
satisfy your empirical data. That's my question.
No. I'm gonna tell you why on the paper is empirical, because in the paper you can draw the triangles and you can do it, right? In a building, you can go in the building and you can see how tall it is and everything. You can do it. When you talk about the moon or the sun, you cannot do those things.
How about the helicopter?
Huh?
Yeah.
An helicopter?
Go back to that, please. That's what I wanted to do. Can I go back to that, please?
You're really low, Travis.
Sure. Okay. Bear with me as I try to get my thoughts back because it's very, very abstract.
Trav, you're really low, Travis.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to get off the Bluetooth.
I don't know if it's just my mic or I hear you really low.
Yeah, it's
all right.
He's so abstract, it's hard to hear him.
Yeah.
Hey, Charles,
is that better?
I think it might be just your mic.
Yes.
Travis sounds pretty loud.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Okay, because I was trying to do a Bluetooth. Okay, so we're talking about straight trigonometry and measuring the distance to the oncoming helicopter. Okay.
Correct.
Now, we have to. I would think, since we're talking outside of the box here, we have to say that the helicopter is coming to us and it is not parallel to the ground. It is flying at a circumference reference point. It has to follow the curve of the Earth. Okay? Just like when we get up 35,000 feet in the air, that airplane cannot maintain a parallel flight pattern. It has to curve.
Perfectly fine, yes.
Okay? That's what you denied a minute ago when we talked about the fact that you have to apply the curve to the position of the helicopter.
No, because we're talking about the position. We're not talking about the flight path. I can only calculate out in the desert with my buddy here, where is it at one point in time? If I had, I don't know, more equipment and everything, I could track it and calculate it, but the pilot could swerve at any moment and then it's going somewhere else. So I can only calculate that moment in time to see it's that far away. That's the only thing I can do, and that's the only thing I ever claimed.
So that means nothing, basically.
I claim I can calculate that distance, and that's what you asked me of me, and that's what I showed you how to do it.
What does that prove, though? I mean, you're offering that up. What does that prove?
You asked me the question. What did you want to prove?
Okay, here we are. Here we are. Okay, remember I told you it was abstract. I had to think about some stuff. Okay, so Okay, so let's say that we can see the helicopter and it's 20 miles away. We don't know that, but it's 20 miles away.
Sure.
There is therefore 20 miles squared times 8 curvature on.
No.
Listen, please.
That is the calculation.
Please don't use that. Please listen to this formula. It's ridiculous. But okay, let's say it's fine. Let's go with that. Okay.
No. Stop right here, Travis. Stop.
Yeah. Okay.
That is the fucking calculation that works until you go at least a quarter around the Earth. That is the calculation.
No.
Yes, it is.
Do you know how?
What
do you
is
know how
the
to
right
graph
calculation? Are you kidding me?
Are you? Do you have you ever graphed this?
Are you freaking
Have you graphed this function? Have you graphed this?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What
this
does it look
has been done to death. No. You're arguing with You're arguing with
Is it a sphere?
science that has been done on the street 1,000
Come on
times.
now!
Is it a sphere or not? That's a simple question.
If it's a sphere, it's miles squared times 8 inches, period, until you get farther on, much farther than we can see or calculate.
One, no. Two, I asked you, if you graph that thing out, what do you get? Do you get a sphere?
Okay. No, of course not, because you cannot
don't
graph
get a
that out.
sphere.
No, you get a quarter of a sphere, which is
graph it out.
You can get a quarter of a sphere. Can you see farther than a quarter of a sphere? If you had excellent vision and could see as far as you could see, could you see farther than a quarter of a sphere?
Standard refraction looming hyena.
According to the very generous heliocentric model, I can. It's called, the distance between the sun and all that.
Have you been drinking, Brandon?
And you believe that?
If you could see.
Hey.
You ask me if I can see it that far.
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Don't forget about the standard refraction, man. It brings mountains 100 miles up in the sky, man. Don't forget about that.
Okay, let me go back to my point. Let me go back to my point of abstraction with the helicopter.
Please.
Okay, yeah. So let's forget the curvature formula. I suppose it's 20 miles away. Okay.
Go with the curvature formula you want to go. I'm just saying,
whatever.
Fine enough for our purposes. Okay.
Okay. So it's 20 miles away on a curved surface. That means that perpendicular to the helicopter is the surface of the Earth, correct?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That's how helicopters work.
Okay. That means that from our position and that pinpoint position on the Earth directly below the helicopter, we are angling away from each other at a particular degree. Yes?
Yes.
Not sure what you mean with that.
Okay, so let me try to say it again.
Okay, please.
The standard... I don't want you to disagree with me.
I think what you're trying to say is at 20 miles, this helicopter is 20 miles away, right? So at 20 miles, there should be the ground that's directly beneath the helicopter should be angled down and away from wherever we are 20 miles away.
It's an obtuse angle.
Right.
Okay. Now, if we... does that make sense, Aletheum? Do you understand my point?
One question to clarify.
Okay.
The 20 miles, is that the distance to the helicopter, or is the distance to the point below the helicopter perpendicular to the Earth?
They would be the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, they would not.
Okay, hold on. Let me finish then, because...
Okay, please do.
All right.
You said the angle, so...
Okay, whatever the distance is, X distance, X miles.
Yes.
The helicopter is above the Earth. Therefore, if you drop the plumb line, it would be perpendicular to the Earth.
Correct.
Okay. Now, at whatever distance, at whatever distance we are, that plumb line dropped to the Earth's surface pinpoints a third location.
Okay.
That third location is on an obtuse angle away from us, according to the curvature of the Earth.
You mean the angle between us, that third point, and the helicopter?
No, the
3 points for an angle. So which 3 points do you mean?
You and I.
More patience than I.
You and I are 20 feet apart from each other. We know how far apart we are. We're 20 feet apart.
Okay.
We are 2 points. Yes?
Yes.
The third point is going to be that pinpoint drop to the surface of the Earth beneath the helicopter that we don't know yet, okay?
Okay, I don't see why you bring that point in, but yes, please go ahead.
Travis, I apologize for interjecting, but this gentleman is not sincere.
This gentleman is very sincere.
This is the way I feel. This is the way I feel when I talk to people like this. I think I am explaining this in such simple terms, and you don't get it. How can you not? How can
Yeah.
you not be sincere?
Yeah, I understand
Can
that
I-
feeling. No, hold on, Travis.
Please
Listen,
go ahead.
Ethereum. Do you understand that we're not idiots? Can you
I
acknowledge
have
that?
not make anything saying that you're idiots.
Okay, so you do not think we're idiots, correct?
If anyone
Yes?
here is, I'm an idiot. But please go ahead.
So yes or no, are we idiots?
No, you're not idiots, and I have not
Okay.
said anything or even implied.
All right, are we ignorant of science? Yes or no?
Well, so far, I mean, there was a consensus about speed of light not being constant and things like that, so you're ignorant of that at least, which means not knowing, just to be sure that we have the correct term here.
Ignorance means not
that's it.
knowing the actual,
Not being
Yes.
aware of it or something, yes.
yeah. It's kind of a loose term. So you
Good.
think we are somewhat ignorant of science, right?
Of some science things, apparently, yes.
Okay. Do you think that we are religious zealots? Yes or no?
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know any of you, and we haven't talked about religion at all, and I don't care about religion in this context, really. So
Perfect.
Again,
Perfect.
I don't
Throw
know.
religion out. I don't care about religion either. All right.
I just don't know here. Okay.
Okay. So I just wanted to kind of ground set where you are in your head related to this subject. So I want you to know that we are not idiots, which you have acknowledged. We're not ignorant of science, which you have acknowledged partly, and that we understand the basic establishment scientific theorems. So we're not coming from a place where we're like, oh my God, we grew up in a church or we homeschooled, any of those ideas, and we're done.
Okay. I have not
Right?
said any of that. I have not implied any of that. Can you
I
please?
know. I'm not implying that you think that. I'm just saying you
Good,
do
then we're
understand that we are intellectual beings who are cognizant of all the arguments. Correct?
I'm waiting for the punchline. What's the punchline, Brandon?
Yeah, me too.
There's no punchline. I'm just trying to level set and say that we are cognizant of all the arguments, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like you need
but I'm trying.
validation.
We're here.
Right.
We're here on something. We're talking about very specific example.
Yeah. Yep.
Turn blizzard.
So
Now,
how
The
did
thing
you
is,
get here?
but
How did
the
you
thing
get
is,
here?
the thing is,
Please.
Travis is asking a question, and it
Right, I
seems
need
like
to
you're
finish
not
it. I need to finish it.
understanding the question.
No.
I mean,
I think I understand. what you're
I
asking.
understand the question,
Can I-
what he's asking.
Can I try to rephrase it and then you
Sure.
tell me if I understood it correctly? Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So, what you're asking is about that point below the helicopter, right?
That's
You're
part of
interested
it.
in that-
That's
Okay.
That's
And
only
what I'm
part of it.
saying in all of this, that point is completely irrelevant. It plays no role whatsoever.
Okay.
Only the helicopter, air distance from me to the helicopter. It doesn't matter at what angle it is above me in the sky. It could be straight ahead. It could be 45 degrees. It could be just barely above the horizon. It doesn't matter. That is the distance that we're talking about. However high above ground it is, doesn't matter. The point below it does not matter in this calculation. That's why this trigonometry thing, very simple, very straightforward, works with the helicopter as well with anything else you see out there in the sky. And it works with everything on the ground as well, if you have, not too far distances in that regard.
Good. Travis, can I ask a question here?
Yeah, I don't even know what to say anymore. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you're gonna do the triangle with the light of the helicopter, right?
Yes, that's correct.
In reference to something behind it, yes.
Well, no, I'm asking ID, right? That's how you make the triangle, right? To the light of the helicopter.
The light,
right?
We have 2 points.
Yeah,
of
I mean
observation.
between you,
the two
him,
people,
and the light of the helicopter.
And whatever is behind him, what I can use as a reference, yes.
Whatever is behind him.
Yeah, he's okay.
What's
right,
to the side
right.
of it or something? What I can see.
Okay, I
as
see what.
the reference
Okay.
Point. It doesn't
All right,
matter how
I see
far
what
away
you're
the reference
saying.
point is. That doesn't matter. only matter is the angle here. We're only talking about angles in that regard.
All right.
I only need the angle between me and the person towards the helicopter. I need that angle plus the distance between the two of us, and I can calculate the distance.
Here's where you.
Sorry, you're breaking completely up. I don't hear you.
Yeah, he's going through a dead zone. He's driving his truck.
What if the helicopter is 20 meters from you and he has a light the size of a fucking, sorry, the cursing. He has a light of the size of a quarter. What if the helicopter is 20 miles away and he has a light of the size of a big house?
Again, it doesn't matter.
It does. You're gonna see it the same size, though. That's what you're failing to see.
The light the problem. Okay, I see what you're going with. You're assuming that the size of the light is important, right?
Of course, because of course.
No,
yes, it is, man.
No, the size of the light is not important for this calculation at all.
Well, my God, man.
Point accuracy where the helicopter is. I don't care how large the helicopter is. I don't care how large the light is of the helicopter. All I care is about the angle between me and my body here and the distance between the two of us. Those are the things I care about. I don't care how large the light is, how tall it is. I don't give a shit about that whatsoever.
Listen.
The only thing matters
you need to know. Listen, AD, you need to know the size of the light to know how far it is.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No.
I know what you're about
Yes, man. Listen.
Have a triangle.
If you do that,
make it simpler. Can I give it an example to make it simpler?
Sure. I'll try it.
Okay, good. Imagine a triangle. Okay. There's a base at the bottom, 2 points left and right, and there's a third point in front of you, like up on the paper. Okay. That's it. That's a triangle.
Here. Let me stop you there, because from the beginning now you're doing it wrong. Because your third point of reference, you don't know if it's close to you or far.
Hey,
yeah, but that's the point. I don't know I don't know the sizes of the triangle. I have no ruler. I cannot measure it. I don't know how far it is.
Listen, we're all the idiots, right? In your heliocentric model, we're all the dumbasses.
No, you're not.
No. I wanna listen. I wanna listen to what he's about to say.
I want him to
I have not said this, and I will never say this.
I know, but I just
want to put this in my mouth.
No, I didn't.
Please let me listen. Please let me listen to what he's about to say about the triangles.
Sure.
Thank you. So the triangle is exactly the same thing as with the helicopter. The 2 points at the bottom is me and my body, and we can measure the distance between the two of us because we can step it off. Okay? Clear?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
So now we know that distance, so we know that length of the triangle. Okay?
You don't know the length of the triangle. You know the distance between you and your body.
Yeah, that side. That's on the triangle. That's the bottom side. Okay? We know that side. Okay, we know the length of that side. Distance between the 2 points at the bottom. We know that one because we can measure it between the two of us. Okay?
Of course. Yes.
Good. Now the point in the top, we don't know where it is exactly. Okay? We can see it, but we can't measure the distance between them. Okay?
This point this point is a light?
It doesn't matter what it is. It's a single point.
It does because it does. Hold on. Let me stop you here.
Okay,
it does to me because we're talking about the sun and the moon, and those are lights.
Yeah, it's also stars and.
So for me, it is important.
It doesn't really matter at this point. To make this.
Oh my God! See, this is the problem. No, hold on, bro. This is the problem with you. It does absolutely matters. It does.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question to just to understand you? Okay. If the point in the distance is a flashlight, standard flashlight you have in your hand, right? Does it matter if the flashlight is on or off? And I can still calculate the distance to it if I can see the flashlight, no matter if the light is
God. It does matter, bro. Holy!
That's
Oh my God!
that's a joke of a question. That's a straw man of a question for
No.
heliocentric distances. That's it.
What?
How
Not
does
at
that
all.
correlate to
Okay,
any
listen. No,
scientific
here it
facts?
is. Yeah, no, hold on.
If
hold
the
on,
moon
hold on.
is dark or the moon is full, that correlates to that same thing. So I don't see it as a straw man. It's just a simplification of the same process.
Okay.
Really? All right. Hold on.
Hold on. Zero. Hold on.
All right, I'll wait.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. Now we are in the daylight, and now we can see the helicopter in the distance.
Yes. It doesn't
The
matter
light-
if it's night or if it's day.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. You've now just
In the day, we just see a black dot.
Okay. I still am going to make the assertion you cannot determine how far away that object is.
Okay, I still can. Given, and that's the problem. That's because it might be easier at night.
It's
if
impossible.
I have a reference
It's
point
not
behind
possible.
it.
Tell us how
If
you
I have a
can
reference
define it.
point behind it, okay?
Hold on. Let me say what he's gonna do. He's gonna point two lines, or let's say two lines. He's gonna point to the point, and then he's gonna measure the angles on the bottom of the triangle, and based on that, he's gonna say that it's a certain distance. Am I right or wrong?
Oh, triangle on a sphere. Yeah,
trigonometry,
that
yes.
proves everything.
Right?
No, it's
That's
not
what you're gonna say, right?
Yeah,
Right?
it's basic trigonometry. I told you.
All right. Yeah. Again, it depends on the size of the object.
The size of the object is irrelevant.
Oh my God!
Oh, really?
Bro.
Well, if you're talking about
Holy.
a needle pin versus something the size, I don't know,
Exactly.
of a
Let's say you
of
see
a
you.
thing, then yeah, we're talking.
Personally,
there might be a
I
difference
don't
in
feel like the
small
size is relevant because I still don't
No,
think
no.
you would
Yeah.
be
Of
able
course
to
it
judge
is.
the distance
Hold on.
anyway.
I've asked a
Hold-
lot of
listen,
women,
hold on.
and they don't. It doesn't bother them that I have a small penis.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be you, Pete. Thanks.
Yeah, but listen, if the size
Good
is
for you.
irrelevant, then you cannot calculate the distances. You
Sure, I
can't.
can.
That's why I'm saying the size is irrelevant because
Okay,
I don't
you
think you
can
can
I finish?
calculate the distance
One
anyway.
variable be X.
Can I finish my point?
Please do.
All right. So if I put the size of the pin 1 meter in front of you, your lines to the triangle are gonna give you the same measurements as if I put a big ass helicopter way far, and it's gonna
No.
look like a pin. You're gonna point at the same direction. How much you wanna bet?
Okay.
How much you wanna bet?
Do this experiment. You can do this right now.
No,
No, you
yeah,
can't because you're driving.
yeah. But you can do it. No, you can do it right now.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Take two items, like
Point.
2 water bottles or something. Put them on the floor. One a bit closer, one a bit further away. Now walk to the side so you see the 2 water bottles from one side. Make a straight line perpendicular to them on the floor. Measure the angle to one, then to the other. Then go to the other side. Measure them again. You get different angles, right? For the closer bottle.
Second.
The closer bottle has a more flat angle than the one that is further away, right?
All right. Okay.
So it doesn't matter if it's a water bottle or if I put the trash can there.
It doesn't?
No, it's like we're talking about the size of the object differences. If the water bottle is 1 meter away and the trash can is half a meter in diameter, then yes, it's this distance difference closer. But we're talking about very rough calculations in the middle of the desert at night, with a helicopter in the sky, and I said within 20% I can probably get it right just from that, and that's it. If I had perfect measurement equipment, I could probably pinpoint it within, I don't know, 2 meters or so. And again, it doesn't matter if it's a helicopter, if it's a hang glider, or if it's jumbo jet. The point I would use, that would be the one I reference. So if the jumbo jet is 100 meters long and I reference the front of it, then I get that distance. And if I reference the tail, then I get the distance to the tail. That's the entire thing. So there, the object, yes, the size matters for that specific part, not to the general distance. We're talking your example is 20 miles or something. That doesn't matter.
No, because the general distance is gonna change based on the size of the object. That is that simple.
No.
Yes.
I think you're confusing two things here.
No, I don't.
No.
I don't think you mean that exactly.
Yeah,
It's
that's
down-
me?
The distance of the object isn't gonna. It's not gonna be changed
Zero.
by the size of the object. Size
Yeah.
is gonna just be the size.
Oh no,
of it,
but
and how
but-
far
but
away it
hold
is
on,
is just
hold
gonna
on.
be how far
But
away
your
it is.
But your
You know what I mean?
perspective of how you're doing the measurements, it will. You need to build a triangle to be able to measure those angles.
yes.
All right. So based on the perspective,
I mean-
you're gonna see that the object is smaller, or based on how big the object is, you're gonna see it as smaller, or
So you mean,
or far.
but-
And
but you mean how far away it is? Because obviously, if it's farther
Yeah.
away, it's gonna be smaller.
exactly, and it can be smaller and closer, and you're gonna point at the same exact direction, and you're gonna have those same angles.
I get it.
So
I get
it
what
can
he's
be-
saying. I get what he's
Yeah.
saying.
So it can
I get
it
what
can
you're
be
saying.
Oh, wait. Sorry, I think I get you. Let me rephrase it to see if I'm getting you. Okay. You're
Mhm.
saying that if I'm measuring the angular size of the object, say I have a 1 meter ball and it's 1 meter in front of me, then it looks a meter to me. And if I put it 10 meters back, then it looks half the size or something like that. That's what you mean?
no. You're gonna put it 10 meters back.
You're thinking I'm using the size of the object, like how much of the object I can see to calculate how far away it is?
But this
Okay,
is
listen,
my
no,
point
this
with
is
the
it. I
sun.
get it. Zero. Let me try it. Zero. Let me try it. Okay.
Thank you, Travis. All right.
Okay. Now, this is exactly where I've thought about this as I've driven as well. Zero. I don't know if you know this or not, but I drive truck as well.
Yeah, I talked to you last time. I don't know if you remember me.
Oh, okay. Okay. If you see a distant object, Aletheum, if you see a distant object and it is a very small object,
Mhm.
shit, I lost it. I totally lost my
No.
thought.
If you see it closer and it's really small.
Yeah. So okay. So you and I both know what a helicopter looks like. We know how big they are. If we see one in the distance and it's very
Depends.
small, we know that it's far away. But
Depends,
if
yeah.
it okay,
Could be
but
model
if it were closer to us and maintained that same size,
Mhm.
we would measure it the same way, but we would be wrong
Yeah, but
about the distance.
You're saying size. Wait, you're saying size.
Yeah,
So you're talking about the
I got it.
size we see the object as, right? You always
No, I got it.
refer
I got it. How? It's easy. I'm gonna explain it now. Let's say you see a regular size helicopter, right? In the distance you see it small, right?
Yes.
And you're gonna do your measurements and everything. So now let's say you grab a toy helicopter and you bring
Yes.
it really close to you,
Mhm.
to where it's gonna fit the same size and it's gonna give you the same measurement. So the distance from that for that thing is gonna be so much different. This is what I'm saying that you.
I know where the
Yeah,
problem
this
lies.
is what I say. This is what I
Can you-
say. You guys cannot measure the sun because you don't know the size.
Can
There's
you
only two
tell
ways.
me? Wait. Can you tell me? This is very crucial. It clears up very quickly. Can you tell me? You're saying measurement. What exactly is the measurement that you are thinking of right this very moment when you're talking about this?
The distance. The distance.
No,
the distance between you
You're
and the
not talking about
object.
that. No. You're not talking about that. You're talking
Yeah.
about the size of how it appears to me.
The-
Right?
Yeah, listen. Yeah, but
That's
the
ang-
distance
that's
is
the
gonna
angular
change.
size.
This is what
That's
you don't
gonna
get.
change with distance, right?
Based on your perspective, your distance is gonna change based on the size of the object.
Yeah, but that's what you're saying. The size of the object changes with distance. So if I measure the size of the object,
No,
I'm
oh
wrong.
my God, wow.
Isn't
No,
that what you're
I
saying?
don't know how else to explain. No,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
There's something being lost in the translation here. There's something we're not.
Can someone else explain it, please?
Because I was trying to, and he then came at it from a different perspective, and you haven't understood either of us.
Well, try.
Okay, let me try. Let me try again. So let's say you're gonna use your arms to measure the distance between you and the helicopter, right? All right. So.
I'm not sure what you mean with that.
So.
I'm not sure what you mean with that.
Yeah, let's say you're gonna use like your arm to point, or like a line, a ruler. Let's say you're gonna use a ruler, right?
Okay, fine. Yeah.
You're in the ground. Let's say Travis is at one side of the aisle, and you are on the other side, right? And you're gonna use the ruler to point at the object, and then you're gonna have your angles, right? And
here's what I think it's important that we're clear. What angles are you talking about right now? What is the angle?
The ones in the ground. The ones in the ground.
No, we don't.
So you're gonna point.
We don't measure that at all. We don't give a shit about the angle in the ground.
No, I think he's asking about you and your buddy are on the ground, right?
Yes.
And you point. I guess he said use your arm to point or a ruler to point at the helicopter, and that will give you the angle.
And they're gonna form a triangle, right?
No. Hang on. This is very crucial. No, this is very crucial because the point is not. Okay, I think I see now where the confusion is here. You're thinking that we're measuring the angle between helicopter, me, and buddy, right? So the point of the angle is at me. That's what you think we're measuring.
No, I'm thinking you're measuring the angles at the bottom of the triangle. Am I wrong there?
Exactly. I'm at the point of the angle. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. That is not what we're measuring.
So you are on one side.
Let's say,
hold on.
You're asking.
Yeah. So
your presumption is that we're measuring that angle, and we're not.
Oh no. Okay. No. I'm sorry. Then wrong. What are we measuring then?
Okay. What we're measuring is the angle of the what's it called? Sorry, English is escaping me right now. What we're measuring is the angle of the difference we see from the object to the reference point behind the object. That's the angle we're measuring.
Okay.
So either way, we need a reference point behind the object.
Right.
You need a reference point. I always said we need a reference point. Say the moon is a very good one.
I did hear you say that, but what if we don't have a reference point?
Right. Okay. No. Chocolate. That's no. Chocolate. Okay. So now that's exactly where my mind went earlier, and I forgot about it. Okay. So now we're in the daytime. We're in the desert. It's flat. There's no reference point except for the helicopter in the distance. You cannot know how far away that helicopter is.
Completely agree. Yes. If I have nothing else, I'm fucked.
Okay. Now, my question is if you're taking that into the daytime or into the nighttime, and you have a point of reference behind the helicopter, or not behind it because you don't really know if it's behind or not.
To the side, usually.
Okay. That's the same situation. You don't know how far that
exactly. That's my whole point, man.
But you don't need that. It doesn't matter.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Because the triangle. Because the thing is, if you measure that angle, that's how
you measure it.
Hang on. If your triangle goes to the point, and then if you would draw on the lines further out, so they cross and go out. The angle we're measuring is the one on the other side. It doesn't matter. It's just we're measuring the angle on the other side of the triangle.
It doesn't matter?
Because of how triangles work, that's the same angle as on the other side of the triangle, on the inside. So now we have the distance between the two of us and the top angle of the triangle. And with that, I give you over to 4th grade trigonometry. You can calculate it.
I can. If I will be, I will be able to explain it. I guess I'm gonna do a video. Now I'm gonna show you what I mean, because there's no way for me in my head, there's only two ways to know a distance to an object. Either know the size or know the distance. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But you can't tell by the size alone.
That's my point. Yeah, by the size you will be able to, of course, because now you can do trigonometry. Now it will work.
Okay,
but
so
without the size, you cannot do it.
Okay, now let's you say that works. Okay, you just said if I know the size of the object, I can tell how far away it is. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now just turn this thing around. No, wait.
Go ahead.
Let me finish this thought.
Go ahead.
So by your own admission, if I know the size of the object, I can tell how far away it is. Now, if the size of the object would be the distance between me and my body, I could, with trigonometry, figure out how far away something else is.
All right, tell me the size of the sun. All right, tell me the size of the sun. Tell me the size of the sun.
I don't know off the top of my head. But again.
Oh, but you know.
It's not important.
Oh.
No, I told you, I'm a fucking idiot. I'm the least educated in this bunch here with a huge margin, for sure. I'm not college educated. I'm a dropout.
Oh, so I'm the same here. I never like indoctrination.
I don't like school in general. I'm just telling you what the model, what the trigonometry. This is not even model. This is just basic trigonometry. How basic trigonometry works.
All right.
Listen, I can bet you whatever you want that you can do like an experiment, and you will do your measurements, and then I'm gonna change the sizes of the things and the distances, and I'll bet you I'll make you get the same results.
Can I ask a question? Do you think that trigonometry that same trigonometry would work when measuring, like, people who have measured the sun using what's the word?
Parallax?
What's the rays that? Yeah, crepuscular. Thank you. Crepuscular rays. The people who have measured the sun distance using those rays, like, do you think that trigonometry will work too, or do you think it's just,
it does.
Atmospheric
it does.
nonsense?
The problem is
it does work.
Rays it works. Yes, it works. The problem is the way you see them from the ground when you're standing on the ground, they look kind of angled, but when you go high enough up, you see they're actually not that steeply angled. So if you measure those angles, well, yeah, you get pretty close, depending on how well you can actually measure them.
Okay, so let me ask you a question based on what you just said. Have you observed this yourself, or is this an idea?
I have flown many times, and I have seen rays through the clouds and all that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
When you're up in the clouds, it looks like parallel lines, pretty much.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I haven't experienced that, so I can't speak to it.
I can wholeheartedly suggest doing it. It's a fun experience, and you can see it. That's the thing. It's from the perspective, right? It depends on your perspective where you have it from. But if you don't have that perspective, then I can clearly see. Yeah, I mean, it sounds plausible. But then you look at other photos of the rays, whatever.
Crepuscular.
And,
I lost it for a second too.
I can never say it. That's my nemesis. Anyway, then you look at that, and then you see, like, okay, if you would calculate it with those angles, the sun would be right outside a window or underneath the Earth, or something like that, because there is lots and lots of pictures of skies that we have that show these rays all over the place, and then that wouldn't work with your model anymore, and it would certainly not work with the heliocentric model if the sun was that close.
Let me, because I've been doodling on this little whiteboard since we've been talking. So let's say that we, again, you and I are standing apart from each other, 20 feet apart. We're in the desert. It's nighttime, and yeah, I guess you're going to still answer the same question or answer the same way. So as we're looking into the distance, we see low on the horizon the approach of the helicopter. Okay, so that's going to give us a low-angled triangle. Does that make sense?
Again, the distance to the horizon doesn't matter for that, but
okay, but it's gonna be for lack of better phraseology, the triangle is gonna be short. It's gonna be small.
It's short either way. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now let's say the helicopter stops approaching us so that its distance is not shortened, but that it raises itself in elevation.
Yes.
That's now going to make the triangle larger.
Again, it has nothing to do with the ground. It would make them be further away if they just go straight up, because if you look at the angle, a triangle with the ground, then the distance line would be longer. Just for reference. But the angle, like the angles we care about, is only between us and the helicopter and the reference points behind it. So it doesn't matter how high it is above ground for this to work.
Yeah, this originally came about with us discussing the speed of light and distance. So trying to bring this back, because this is how I've thought about the speed of light and distance issue, and that is that we can't know the speed of light unless we know the distance of the object from us.
Right.
Yeah, but we have measurements for distance. Pretty accurate ones.
Right. So that's what we're talking about right now. Okay.
So you're saying we cannot measure the speed of light?
That's correct.
Okay. That's what you're just saying is like I cannot measure how much a liter of water is weighing at room temperature.
Actually, it's like saying you can't measure the speed of your soul, since no one can measure the speed of light. There's no measurement. There's no
speed of thought.
Sure, Travis. There's no tool that can measure the speed of something that goes faster than anything of us can fathom. A light year? It's ridiculous. Let's just be real here.
No. You can turn on a light bulb and you can turn it off. Can you turn on and off a soul, for that matter? You can measure
between. Can you blink between when you put the light switch up and down, and notice the difference?
No,
there's no time there.
It's really, really fast, but it's still measurable.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Is the speed of a candle the same as the speed of a 60-watt bulb?
Yes.
So is the speed of a so a laser travels the same speed as a candlelight. Okay.
Yes. The only difference is, of course, the strength of it, right? The 60-watt light bulb is stronger than the candle, so it illuminates more, or you can see it further without.
But at some point that light's gonna dissipate, right? And you're not gonna be able to see it anymore.
Sure.
Whereas we're told that stars we can see from trillions of light years away.
That's why they measure the speed of light in a vacuum.
That's pretty far for light to just travel.
How many candle years away is the sun?
Okay, that makes no sense.
Yeah, it's PMARS. It never makes sense.
Okay.
Don't worry.
I don't know, man. There's no way somebody can convince me they can know the distance for the sun.
Yeah.
No matter what they do, they cannot go and.
Fine. I'm just saying there's trigonometry, and you can do certain things, and you can, measure.
Oh yeah, you can do all math that you want. It doesn't mean anything.
Well, you just said that
unless you go in
the distance to an object if you know its size. So that math works.
Oh yeah, you're never gonna. Yeah, no. You're never gonna know the size of the sun. Period. That's it.
But I just said,
it's simple.
If you have the reverse, you can do it. I mean, if you can do one thing, do the other.
So just to take this, because we've been going on with the moon and angles and sun, all that. for a while. So let's take the conversation to a more basic level, right? Now you said you don't ascribe to either heliocentric or flat. I don't know. Water.
I'm trying to learn about the flat.
What are your thoughts on, based on your experience with water? What is your thought of how that would work on a ball?
Okay, just to reiterate, what I'm attempting to do, and horribly have been failing for the last couple of months, is trying to find people that can actually tell me how the flat Earth is going to work. How does this work? What are the experiments? What are the parameters? How can I confirm it myself? I find tons and tons of shit on the heliocentric model, and I find it's important to understand that part to understand what the difference is to the flat Earth model. Okay?
But
that's why I
do you understand that
about that. So
do you understand that everything? Do you understand everything that you see? Okay.
No, please go ahead. What do you want to say?
Yeah, that everything that you see about a globe model is just numbers, right? You understand that, right? It's just formula.
What?
It sounds like you've gotten into the flat Earth thing, right? And you're trying to find something that convinces you of it, because you said you've seen a lot that convinces you of the heliocentric model.
Nope.
So now you're looking for proof. Basically, you're looking for proof for the flat Earth. That's basically what you said.
In short, yes, that would be fantastic. But just learning about what actually people think is pretty damn hard. I mean, look up.
Okay, all right, but to start off though, you have you do understand. Of course, you're going to find a lot more on the heliocentric model because that's the current standard science model.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
That's why I'm trying to
flat
learn
earthers. Us flat earthers are the idiots that are trying to go against that. That's basically the stance right now.
I'm withholding my judgment so far.
No, I'm not saying that you're. I'm not saying that you're making a judgment. I'm just saying that's how we are perceived. We're perceived as the fools that are running around believing crap that doesn't exist.
So what I find interesting is that I don't think I can recall in any of our past few hours of discussion you're asking us a question.
No, because you have asked question. I asked a question. I got some answers regarding that thing with the app and all that. And after that, I've basically just answered your questions.
Okay.
Because most of the conversation has been based on the app and the moon and the stars, the moon and the sun in that position.
I have a ton of questions.
Go for it.
Okay. There's the two major questions. Okay, I have three major questions. It would be great if we could tackle those if you have the time and whatever. The first one is very general, and I know this is almost cliche, but I'm still trying to find what is the first proof that comes to mind, or the first thing that convinces you. Let's say it that way. What is the first thing, the top thing in all the things that are there to convince you? What is the top thing of all things that convinces you the Earth is flat and not a globe?
Okay, you ready?
Water.
That was the reason I asked the question, because that's, to me, the most basic thing that anybody who has experience with water, can answer that question.
Water, man.
But when it comes to the water being curved on the Earth,
the only thing to discuss ever.
Hey, Chocolate Travis, how about the fact that every image of Earth from space and NASA is not to be trusted because it's from the government who makes billions of dollars?
And I understand that, Brendan. But if we could just talk about how water just wouldn't work the way they show us, we don't even have to talk about their pictures.
No, it isn't. It's entirely
if you start talking about NASA and pictures and they lie and all that, then we're done. Because
you're right. Scientifically, Travis and Chocolate are right. Scientifically, they're right.
It doesn't matter what the fuck they're saying. the
No, it
observable things
but
we
everything.
have.
Yeah,
Doesn't
but
matter
everything.
what NASA or ESA or Ajax or any of those fuckers say. It doesn't matter.
You're sounding like
So
one
if
of
you
us,
come with-
brother.
If that is,
Yeah,
that is
you are.
no, that is an argument.
Because that
I
usually
say the
is
same
the
thing to
go-to
Bible
for them.
people. Sorry, I'm
Okay,
saying the same
so-
thing about the Bible people. If you
Okay.
go, this book is real and this book is false, doesn't matter which one you're talking about, we have a problem, right? So that
Right.
really doesn't help. So the only thing we can actually do is based on observable reality. If you go with that, I'm cool. Okay. Everything else,
So
they said
Yeah.
no. That's just
Beautiful.
no.
How long you been
So-
looking into this, Ethereum? How long you been
And-
looking into this, brother?
8 months now? Something
8
like
months?
that? Yeah.
And you're still on the globe?
So
I'm not on either one. That's my point.
That's
The
not
problem
true.
is
That's not
that I
true. When you
cannot
decide not
find
to make a choice,
one of
you've
them.
still decided.
Yeah, because you sound
Wait,
like a
what?
glober. I got to be honest with you. I mean,
I
so when
find
I
more
ditched the
information
globe-
about the globe. That's what I told you just before.
I know, but
okay,
just,
so
Okay.
so what do you think about that? Because to most of us, I think we've pretty much come to some type of consensus that water is the most basic proof I think that we have that we are not on a globe.
Okay.
So what
I
are your
love
thoughts
that.
about that?
And I would really love to talk about it. But the last time I
Sure.
talked about it, I got shut down so quickly that it was really, really frustrating because I
Yeah,
couldn't
but we've
get
had this
over it.
conversation for a couple hours. I think we've been pretty decent.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Keep my mouth shut.
I just would like to tackle 2 like smaller things first, if you don't mind, and then come back to the water. If you're okay with that. It's not big.
I mean, that's
You know,
fine, but you asked what
I
is
do wanna-
our proof? What is our
I do
basic
want to get
proof?
back to it. I do
Okay,
wanna
go
get-
ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, well, there's 2 questions. One is the question is how far away do you think or believe or whatever you want to say the sun is at this very moment in time? Like
It's irrelevant. I don't
on the
know.
surface. That's a perfectly fine
Yeah,
answer.
I wouldn't begin to guess.
No guesses
And
at all.
Right, because I can't know. That's what I was trying to tell you.
Yeah,
You
I can't know that. I don't have Terminator eyes that when I look at the sun, a display pops up and tells me, "Oh, this thing is that far away." I don't have that, so
I would
don't-
guess. I guess
zero guess.
93 million miles.
Oh yeah, you would guess that because some guy in a white
Shut
coat told
the
you that,
fuck
right?
up,
T-Mo?
Chris.
Okay, so that's your guess. Great. But is there nothing? Like, is there no even remote short guess on this? Like, even a rough.
What is the purpose of a
area
guess?
thing?
What's the purpose of
Well,
a guess? How
if you
productive
guess-
is that?
Then you can go and try to find out. Okay, we guess it's this far away. Now, how can we prove it's this far away? And then you make an experiment.
That is begging the question, dude. That's the whole problem. That's a total
No, that's how
construct.
science works.
No. That is a total construct of begging the question. How can I prove that this
Very
is
different.
true? And then you go
Or
about
disprove that it's okay. What you really do is how can I disprove it's my guess away? That's what you're actually doing. Yes. Okay. Sorry. That's the way you go about it. But the thing is still the same. You're trying to figure out an experiment. How can you disprove your hypothesis of its X amount of miles or kilometers or whatever you want to call it away? But you
Okay,
have
so what's-
no range even what you would say.
What's your next question?
Okay, so no answer. It's fine, but that's the thing. We don't know.
Correct.
Okay, good. So the second question is what I said before, the thought experiment. But I need a small answer before that. Do you believe?
Sorry,
If-
I dropped out.
And now if you have hypothetically, you would be on a object. Not saying even what shape it is, but this object is spinning, right? Say the Earth is spinning. Would you feel the spin of the Earth
Yep.
if it was spinning?
Yep.
Yes.
So you would feel that movement of that Earth.
Yes.
The multiple different directional movements, yes.
Okay, good. So here's a thought experiment. Bear with me for a moment. Imagine there's a room. The room is built like a container of some sort. You can see that as you enter the room. So the room can be moved. You go into this room, you close the door. The room has no windows. The room is absolutely, so no light comes in whatsoever. And the room is absolutely soundproof. You cannot hear, you cannot see what's happening outside. There's a comfy chair. It's spacious enough that you don't feel claustrophobic or anything. You plop your ass down in that, you fall asleep. You wake up, let's say an hour or two later. So here comes the experiment. The room you're in, either at this point is completely stationary, not moving a bit, or it's moving at a constant speed of 500 miles per hour in one direction, no bumps, no shaking, nothing. You can't hear a thing. So one of the two is correct. Which one is it?
Do you know the
and
problem
why?
with? Do you know the problem with your example?
Please illuminate it.
Okay, maybe I was jumping the gun. You're asking me how you can. Yeah. The problem
So
with
you don't know
right,
if it moves.
No. I get it. Yeah, I get it. The problem is we are not moving in a straight line according to the heliocentric model.
Again, that's completely irrelevant at this point in time.
It's not. I'm sorry.
Yes, it is.
It's not. It's not though.
Think about the thought experiment.
Okay, look at me.
move
Okay,
in a straight
listen,
line.
I'm sorry. Stop. You didn't even have to go down this crazy thought experiment road because my very first interaction with my friend in high school, he brought up inertial issues. And he said, you can't know how fast you're going if you're driving in a car straight. And I said, dude, we're not going straight.
Exactly.
You can't.
Yeah, but it's not even true, Travis. If you're in a car.
I know. Yes, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Yes.
If you're on a train.
Just think about it for a moment.
You can feel it.
Ignore the other shit. I would just want to have that one answer to that one question. If we were going perfectly straight to your level of most straightness ever, no curve, no nothing else, no bumps, no moves, how can you tell if that thing you're sitting in is moving or it's stationary without seeing or hearing anything? Can you feel it that you're going at 500?
My answer is yes.
Wait, hold on. Is there a pink unicorn carrying this box in a straight line?
If you want to imagine that, please go ahead.
Okay,
the
great.
The question is still the same.
Yes,
it's a thought experiment.
Yeah, I would know that I was moving.
Based on my experience in complete darkness on roller coasters or rides, I could definitely feel that I was moving. That's just my experience. I get what you're getting at, but
you wouldn't feel the air, and you wouldn't go tilt.
It's not about the air. It's not about the air. It's the movement through other matter, I think.
Well, it moves left and right.
Medium.
Yeah, but
the medium. Yeah.
But you wouldn't.
Yeah.
You would be inside
the movement
the room.
that we're spinning while turning in an elliptical orbit at 66,000 miles per hour.
Yeah, I don't know the numbers.
That's the problem.
We're not doing
Alethea, imagine you fell asleep and then you woke up on the back of a pink unicorn in space and there's no wind, there's plenty of space so you don't feel claustrophobic. And how would you know that you were moving at 65,000 miles an hour?
Actually, I wouldn't.
Okay, I mean, you just gave us a question that isn't real. It's not real.
It's a thought experiment. The question
it's
is
not
the
real.
Same.
It's not real.
That's the point of a thought experiment.
No, I'm sorry. I don't live in that world.
So
hey, Travis,
what you're saying,
what
if you have a straight
fun thought experiment is, E
I know what
MC squared. That's a fun thought experiment.
Yeah, E equals MC squared is this. Einstein equals me confused squared. EM.
Okay. Let's go another way. Let's go for reality.
No. Let's bring it back. No. We'll bring it back
please.
and ask. No.
You asked for reality. Please let me at least attempt to bring you to reality.
Okay.
Thank you. You're in an airplane. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's night.
I was just in one last week. Yep.
Good. You're in an airplane. It's night.
Yep.
Cabin crew closes all the windows.
Yep.
There's no info and whatever screens and so on. How do you know if you're traveling at 800 miles per hour or 400 miles per hour? Can you tell the difference?
No.
200 miles.
No.
Okay, why can you not tell the difference?
I know I'm moving though.
Yeah, right. Why?
How do you know you're moving?
Okay, hold on.
I can feel I'm moving.
Okay, listen. Okay, listen to me. I know I'm moving because I'm in an airplane in the air. So already the concept. No. Already.
That's true.
The concept.
I got a good answer. I got a really good answer. How come you think that we wouldn't know we're moving, but a gyroscope would know it's moving? Do you think we're less sensitive?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We had that discussion about being a limitation in our senses before.
Yeah.
Really?
Based on what? On what? Right. Based on what? Okay, I had this. Okay, hold on.
A rotation of the Earth is 360 degrees in roughly 24 hours, right?
At 1,000 miles an hour. Yep.
But it's 360 degrees in 24 hours.
At 1,000 miles an hour.
That's the equatorial speed. Yes. Okay.
Are we dumber than a piece of steel?
So if you are, what?
Are we less sensitive?
Okay,
is our brain
we are
the most sensitive electrical piece of engineering on this whole planet. Less sensitive than a gyroscope? You don't think we can feel movement?
Now we are now in a tertiary issue. We are now in a tertiary issue, just as if we were discussing satellites. This is not the issue. The issue is water does not conform to the exterior of a container.
Is that what we were arguing about?
So I gladly go into this.
I think that's what we should be arguing about.
Just one last thing. In your plane thing, there's one problem. You could also be stationary, and you wouldn't know because the turbine sounds exactly the same right next to you.
Oh
so
my word! Do you understand?
You have no idea which one it is.
You are bringing in variables. You change the variables. Of course, that changes everything.
You wanted me to change it.
No,
because
I didn't.
You didn't think the thought experiment is real enough, and I changed it to something real.
When I'm sitting in a plane,
no, but what I mean
and it's idling and it's ready to take off.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel the same way that it feels when I'm in the air.
Okay,
moving at 500 miles per hour.
Aletheium, do you understand?
Absolutely.
Okay, Aletheium,
no,
do
it
you
doesn't.
understand?
Let's go on. Let's go on through water. I'm perfectly fine.
I want to rip your. I want to rip it a hole right now
Please
because listen to me. If you told me that I was on the ground in an airplane and they closed the window, okay, that's because you didn't give me enough information.
It was the same experiment. You just wanted the reality.
No, you did not give me. You withheld information that would give me the ability to tell you my answer properly.
Okay, so your answer is still the same. If you were not aware if you're already landed, if you're just standing, or if you're up in the air. If you were unaware of which one of the two it is because you slept and you woke up, but you don't know what's happening, it could be either one, you would still say you could tell the difference between being up in the air, flying at whatever speed, but you could not, and you could tell the difference between standing still.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
that's my answer.
The equator goes 1,000 miles an hour, right? How fast would it have to spin for it to fling people off?
Shut the fuck up. Go away.
Okay.
The answer is 22,000 miles an hour.
Shut up.
Okay. Water does not conform to the exterior shape of a container or an object.
The shape of a container. What?
But I dropped a ball in the water and then I put a napkin on it, and the napkin got wet. The ball was still wet.
I wish I could kick you. I wish I could kick you. I wish I could kick you.
Please go ahead.
Water conforms to the container on the inside. It does not conform to the surface of an object on the outside.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. Therefore, when I look out on the ocean, I understand it's contained because I know the mechanics of water.
It's
the oceans. The oceans are contained.
The coast and all that. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so yes, you're affirming that we're a flat plane.
I completely agree with you on what you just said. Where's the connection to flat Earth in this regard?
The connection is that the water is not supposed to be flat on a globe.
Flat Earth
That's the
is
problem.
No, we're talking
it's
flat
science.
Earth level.
Flat Earth is science. It's predictable, repeatable science. Don't call it flat Earth and say, "Oh, it's a conspiracy." We're talking about science.
I'm not.
We're just talking about real life. It's like Bruce Lee said, you put water in a cup, it becomes the cup.
Exactly.
Water in a glass
Science.
becomes the glass.
So just to be absolutely clear, you're saying water is always flat and level. It's always perfectly flat, perfectly level.
That's correct.
Flat-ish. Like if there's little waves and things like that, so we ignore that. But
that's correct.
When water is at rest, yes.
Water ball?
Okay. So given that, you always this is the thing that always drives me crazy about this. Flat and level are not synonyms.
In your world.
In every world.
No, it's not every world.
What is the reference?
Let's go.
No. What is the reference? What is the reference?
Shelf on the wall.
The shelf on the wall is level and
crooked.
flat.
Yeah, but if it's crooked, it's still flat, but it's not level. Correct?
Okay. Yes, we're not talking about a shelf on a wall. We're
but
talking
that's what
about
I'm saying. You have
water.
flatness and levelness.
Okay. Do you understand the point that we are trying to make? Do you understand? Okay, then why are you bullshitting about crooked shelves?
Hey, Travis, I got a really good example. I got the perfect example. Okay, go ahead. And then I want to tell you my perfect. Go ahead.
A crooked shelf has nothing to do with our discussion on the surface level of water. Let me ask you a question, Aletheum. You have a cup of water in front of you. How would you describe the surface of that water?
Flat.
Okay. Water everywhere is flat as far as the eye can see.
No.
But we're told at some point it begins to curve because of gravity.
Okay,
that's
stop.
What we are,
okay,
that's what we are told.
I'm sorry, Chocolate. I'm sorry.
So
why did you say no, Lithium? Why did you say no?
Because of what your friend was just trying to say. That's how it usually works. The thing is, that's what you don't understand. That's why I'm asking this flat and level thing, because there is levelness. What means level? Level
I'm waiting
is
my turn very patiently. I have a beautiful example.
Perfect. Okay, let me just finish this part. Sorry, level. I was thinking flat. Sorry. Level. Level means it's equidistant to a reference point. So your level shelf means it's the line of the shelf is parallel to the reference point, your floor. So it's flat and level, right? A tire, for example, is also level. The outer rim of the tire is level to the hub. Otherwise, it would, spin out of control and fuck up your car. That also means level. So level is not saying the same thing as flat. That's the only thing that I'm getting at here. That's the only thing I'm getting at here. Please go ahead.
Altium, you got to understand where we're coming from with this, right? I mean, again, water is always flat, right? We observe that. When we look at water, the surface of the water is always flat. So
and level, bro.
we are told at some point that this flat level of water curves and maintains that curve while this water is at rest. It maintains this curve conforming to gravity.
Yes.
You don't see a problem with that, knowing how water works. You don't see how that's a problem.
Because it can appear flat to us from our perspective. Perfectly fine. I completely agree with that. What I absolutely agree with, it is always level. It finds always its level, or whatever the phrases that you're using. So I completely agree with that. But again, level to a reference point. In this case, center of the Earth, because gravity. So
yeah. Now you're back to.
So far, I agree with that. But the thing is,
this is
like
why we cannot get to a This is why we cannot get to an agreement, because you guys keep coming up with this
about agreement
word. Huh?
Is this about an agreement? I thought it's information exchange.
Yeah, it's a exchange.
we would like to come into an agreement in terms of our discussion on the nature of our world. We cannot come into an agreement because you beg the question.
No.
I just, not to interrupt, but I never did get to make my point.
Yeah, okay, go ahead, Brandon.
All right, so level and oh geez, flat, level and flat. Thank you. Level and flat, very interesting concepts. So I want you to take a look at the Solar de Uyuni, or any of the other salt flats in the world, and I want you to think about the fact that nothing can be flat and level at the same time. So the salt flats in South America are oh, is that an interesting concept to you? Nothing can be flat and level gravity wise, your idea of gravity, at the same time on the ball. It's not possible.
Okay, I would agree with you if you're talking about degrees of precision. But
I'm not talking about degrees of precision. I'm talking about tens of miles. I'm not talking about little tiny footsteps. I'm talking about tens of miles that cannot be also flat and also level. It's not possible.
Yes,
it's impossible.
Yes. Sorry,
it's a contradiction,
right? I probably misspoke there. Yes, flat and level at the same time over tens of miles and whatever. Not possible in that regard. Yes.
Right, but if you go down there and you look at the horizon and you talk to all the locals, it's a perfect mirror. It's only 1 inch across tens of miles. You can see across the whole thing. 1 inch of water when it rains. It's a perfect mirror. That's not possible.
There's just too much flatness on the Earth to still be able to call it a sphere. That's the problem.
Thank you.
Too much flatness on the Earth.
Okay, so, but again, you're measuring. Let's take your example there. You go to this place. It rained. And there's 1 inch of water. You stick in. You have your ruler. You stick it in. You say, oh, 1 inch. You go to the other end. You stick it in 1 inch. You go to the middle. Stick it in 1 inch. Any spot you go, it's always 1 inch, except to the very end where it's maybe tapering out or so. Let's ignore those. Just it's always 1 inch everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of a hint because look it up on the Establishment Bible Wikipedia.
Hold on, I wanna listen to his punchline. So 1 inch everywhere. What's the punchline?
So the punchline is if you measure it like this, then all you're measuring is again towards the center of the Earth.
No.
Yeah, it's on the heliocentric model.
Works. That's not how reality works. No.
That's how the heliocentric model works.
Okay, listen to what Brandon just said. Listen to what Brandon just said. He said, that's not how reality works. And you said that's how the
Sure.
heliocentric model works.
That's a whole
Thank you,
problem
Travis.
right there.
Thank you.
Okay, so
That's the whole
crux of
problem
the
right
problem. You're right.
then let's
Travis. You
go
are
into this a little
absolutely
deeper.
right.
Okay.
Sure.
So
Let's.
the problem is not level. I think we established that. It works for you. It works for me and my way.
No.
That I'm saying the heliocentric model
No,
works.
we don't
Flat.
concede.
Level-
it works for
level
you.
is fine.
Level.
No.
And flat
We're-
at the same
We don't.
time.
Yeah, exactly. We
Okay,
don't conceive
at the same
that.
time,
that
fine. Perfectly fine.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah, let's
really
figure out how that can happen.
But the problem is the flatness, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you actually establish flatness? That's what I would love to know.
I guess it
I have
depends on
not
the
found
model,
a
right?
single thing.
So
Your
with
model.
water, bro. With water, that's how you.
I've been
Okay,
thinking about
here,
this
no,
for a
it needs to
long
be.
time. I've been
it
thinking
needs
about
to-
this for a long time. So let's take a 50 by 50 meter, or I'm sorry, kilometer area. Let's talk about that. Let's say it's extremely flat, meaning there's no height differential. If you went from one side to the other, spatially, you would be on the same plane, geometrically speaking.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So
Right?
it's level. Let's call it level.
No,
Because that's we both could agree on.
Okay, let's call that level. All right.
Okay.
All right. All right.
So in both models we could agree on it's level.
Let's put that level area, that 50 by 50 is what, 2,500 kilometers square? Is that right?
Yep. 250.
Yeah. Let's stick that on top of a globe. Now imagine that according to the globe model, it's got a different gravity pull, right? On each of those different areas, right? And let's say the center of it is touching the center point of the global circumference. All right. So each of those endpoints, 25 kilometers away, is
Extending
pushed away
out over
from the center point, right? In all directions.
And the
right?
Earth is falling away. And the Earth is falling away from.
Right.
Okay, I understand this.
Okay,
so I would like to point out suddenly a thought experiment without reality is okay. Just want to point this out. Please continue.
No.
No,
We are addressing your. We're addressing your model.
This is reality.
No, it's not my model. I'm talking. Yes,
funny?
wonderful. Please go ahead.
Travis,
you're saying a 50 by 50 thing that extends out. Please go.
Place on the fucking Earth right now. Excuse my language. On the Earth
Perfectly
right now.
fine.
This is not a thought experiment. All right. So just listen to me. So that center point is the only point touching the circumference of the Earth. So that's the center point of gravity. All the other points are extending planarly
Into space.
Right. It's like a sheet of paper touching a ball.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Geometrically.
Okay, follow you.
All right. So they are all.
It's like if you took, take a checkerboard and put it on top of a
They're
ball.
gravitationally extended from that center point. Or.
Sorry, what? I didn't catch that.
Okay, just there's.
Can you repeat that last part?
Sure.
With the gravitational extending, I didn't hear that. Yep, I got it.
Its very center point is the only point touching the globular Earth.
Perfect. Yeah.
And
okay. And then
everything else is a plane extending away from that point against, like you put a sheet of paper against the Earth.
Perfectly
and
fine.
There's only
yes.
one point that's touching, right? You understand?
Got it. Got it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So on that piece of paper, you cut out the 50 by 50, so it's 2,500 kilometers squared.
Mm-hmm.
There is only one point on that plane that is gravitationally centered with the Earth. You go out 50 miles in every direction, rain falls on that plane, and everything's going to go to the center, right? Because of gravitation. It's all going to fall towards the center. There's nothing.
Yes.
Okay, so that it's not.
Yep.
It's flat, right? It's a flat plane.
I follow you. Yeah, because gravitationally they would be at an angle. Yes, I got it.
Do you get it? But gravitationally, it has multiple dimensions to it. As you move out from the center point, the rain would fall towards the center, would it not?
Yes.
Okay, so that is not possible on the ball Earth. When you look at what I just described to you is the playa down in South America, a real place that exists.
Okay. So by your
hold on,
virtual model,
Travis,
please.
Travis, did I do that justice?
I don't know, man. My head is spinning right now. It's very abstract.
But you cannot have. Shit.
I completely understand it. I completely understand what you're trying to demonstrate.
If he does, then that's great.
I just want someone else to back me up and understand what I'm saying. You cannot have a flat plane and a gravitationally flat plane on a globular Earth. That's my point.
Yeah, but on the globe model, that would not be that perfect flat sheet that you're describing, but it would curve with the Earth, so water would go wherever it can go. So if it's completely flat, then it would just stay where it is and pool and eventually make one big mass out of it and not go to a center point or anything, unless there is somewhere point where it's lower so it can flow away, like water does. But that's the thing. I mean, on a globe, it would just be curved.
You can't have a flat plane with the same altitude on a spherical Earth.
But yes, you can, because the altitude is a reference to the center point. Yes, the altitude is a reference to the center. Yes, it is.
You stick a piece of paper against a ball, it will all have a different altitude.
Take a perfect sphere.
Except the center point.
Please, just indulge me for just 1 second.
Sure.
Take a perfect sphere, just a metal ball, doesn't matter what, okay? Perfect sphere. Every point on the surface of that sphere has the exact same distance to the center point of that sphere.
Agreed.
Correct? Okay, same thing applies here. Every single point on the Earth, the height of the altitude that we have on the model says it's this far away from the center of the Earth, essentially.
No.
And we just subtract the thing before until the sea level comes.
Brother, stick a matchbook on it. Does every point on the bottom of the matchbook have the same center point or distance from the center point of that Earth?
No, that's I understand what you're trying to show. The problem is
you're not dealing with the heliocentric model.
No. The problem is how, and this is the core of it. How do you prove that is actually flat? That's the thing. No, you made up a thing and in space and all that.
I didn't make that up.
That's fine.
I was describing to you something that actually is in reality.
How can you prove?
I was making it sound like something I made up, but it's
but how can you prove it's flat?
Reality.
Okay, are you ready?
Problem.
Alathian, I have a thought experiment for you. Ready?
Please go ahead.
Okay. You're in a box, and you're standing still. All of the same qualifications that you said before about comfortable and all that kind of stuff.
All good.
No windows, no nothing. Okay.
No sound, no bumps, no anything.
You fall asleep. You fall asleep.
Good.
And then you wake up 8 hours later on the side of a mountain at a 45-degree angle.
Yep.
Are you going to know whether or not you're at an angle?
Yes, I would.
That is the issue with the ball Earth. You're going to change angles as you move in every direction, because a ball, if you're at the top of the ball and you start walking at you're at 90 degrees now on that ball, you are now sideways. You are not level.
No, but there's a problem. What you just said,
it's not
right?
a problem. It's not a problem.
Can I address your point? Thank you. Okay, in your thought
I gotta be
experiment.
honest, I think we kind of skipped over my point, which was that there are salt flats that are 2,500 miles squared that are
No, we
both
haven't
flat
skipped
and
it.
level on this Earth.
We have not skipped it. I still have not seen the thing that says this is how we prove it's flat versus it's not flat.
Again,
But
for ball, there are way too many flat
gladly go into
surfaces for the sphere
I'll gladly
that
listen to
it's
you,
sitting.
but I would like to please address the point that was made before.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
So your thought experiment at a 45-degree angle. Okay, I can tell because that's a large enough angle for me to detect with my inner ear, right? The thing that tells us how we're balanced, right? Okay, so in your second part with walking across the sphere, based on gravity, which is the thing with your ear and everything, and it keeps you level, which is essentially what's happening in your inner ear. There's little liquid in there and little feelers and all that, and because the liquid stays level, that's always why you stay upright. So it doesn't matter if you're on a ball or not, you would stay upright, so you wouldn't angle, as you said before. So you would still stay upright. I mean, even have you seen The Little Prince?
Can you please prove that gravity does that?
Sorry, what?
Can you please demonstrate gravity doing that?
Basically, you're asking me to demonstrate gravity.
That's correct.
Okay. The simplest way you can demonstrate gravity by yourself without me interfering is something called the Cavendish experiment. Have you heard of that?
Really?
Are you new?
Do you want to hear
What are you? Are you new? Is this the best way to end this conversation? This is absolutely priceless.
Dude,
Wow.
You can do it yourself.
Mentally and verbally.
Oh my word. Oh my word. This should be recorded. I can't believe this wasn't recorded.
Right. It
I
should have
actually
been
have the
live.
recording. Thank you.
You have been?
Yeah, I've recorded everything that I'm doing online.
Hey, you know what, Ethereum? I'm playing with my balls in my shed right now.
Can I have
No,
a
you
copy
don't need
of
a
this?
shed. You can do it in your living room.
Can I have a
I
copy
do all
of
the
this?
time.
Alithium,
I'd like a copy of
I
it
would
too.
like a copy of this, please.
This is a great
I'm not even
conversation.
sure if I'm gonna keep it.
Have you done it?
This is not really helpful. Sorry, what?
Have you done it? Have you done the experiment? Thank you.
If you're asking
Where's
me,
my cake?
hang on. If you're asking me if I personally have set up the entire damn thing, no.
You know, somehow I
I've
knew you
been
were gonna say
present.
Cavendish, but I was like, nah,
present.
he's not gonna
And I
say
finished.
Cavendish.
I let you finish.
I never saw it going this way, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I have watched someone set it up right in front of me, and I have watched the experiment happen right in front of me. And that was not some university or something, it's just some random physics things that we did. And I have not set it up. I cannot say I have made the experiment.
Okay,
and that's how you prove that mass attracts other mass. That's what that proves to you.
That seems to be the case with that experiment. And if you have a better explanation for that, I would be glad to hear it.
Can I ask you this? What were the balls made of?
I have the experiment right here. I have a video
No,
of it. This is the Cavendish experiment.
Keep your freaking mouth shut. Shut up.
Well, you can watch.
Get him off the screen. Shut the hell up.
I got a video of it.
Shut up.
That's the material.
That's a video.
Anybody get him off the screen.
It's a Cavendish experiment.
Shut
right
up. It doesn't matter what you say. You're a piece of Cavendish.
Hey guys, can I ask you something?
You're a piece of Cavendish.
Wait, no, hold on. No. Hold on.
Okay, Travis.
Zero.
Yes.
Did you hear how this conversation just ended a minute ago? Did you hear what Alithium appealed to in order to prove gravity?
Yeah, he went to the Cavendish experiment.
Okay, I didn't know you were.
My
here.
God.
Who is sharing their screen right now?
That's a
That's-
Cavendish
I have a question.
experiment.
Well,
I
I-
got a
bro,
video
it's
of
an
Cavendish
experiment.
experiment.
Hold
It's
on,
an experiment.
I have a-
So
I-
you're saying
I have a-
Chris,
okay.
shut the hell
Can
up.
you
Chris,
explain
shut
to
the
me
hell
the
up.
result
AD.
of that experiment with a
AD,
different resolution? And I'm gladly here to listen.
AD,
Okay.
why when they do this experiment, they always use metal stuff? I don't understand that. Metal is magnetic.
Because of mass. No, it's not about magnetics. And try that with stainless steel.
Well,
So what-
use why they use metal? Use I don't know, a piece of
Okay.
wood or something different.
Can I
you
ask
need
a
mass.
question?
It's about mass.
Out the
No. That what? This are just words that are coming out of your mouth. Doesn't mean anything. I'm telling you that
This means nothing.
like. Oh my God.
Can I
Metal.
ask a question?
Yeah.
Please do.
So this is supposed to prove gravity, right?
This is an experiment.
This
Oh,
proves
hang on.
that. This proves
is-
that
this is an
experiment.
This is an
That proves-
experiment that's supposed to prove gravity.
it proves
right?
mass
So,
attracts
it
mass
shows-
because you can see the
Yes.
balls being attracted.
Which
Okay,
is the
cool.
basis of
Mass.
gravity.
all right,
So
all right.
if you
That's
have
cool.
a better explanation, I'd be
Shut
happy to
your
hear it.
mouth,
I
Chris.
know that thing works.
No.
So if you have a better explanation,
What I'm trying to ask is, okay, so this experiment, let's say this actually works and proves
it does.
that there is some type of gravity, right?
Yeah. Right.
So where is that in real life, other than
Nowhere.
this experiment?
Yeah. Hey, Chris, why don't you answer that
Where
question?
where
Big
where
mouth.
in real life do we ever see some type of mass attracted to some other type of mass based on how much mass it has?
Wait. Here, no.
So-
Here
so
you go.
the
Here's
question
your answer.
is
No,
gravity
I have
real,
the answer.
right?
I have the answer. I have the answer. Are you ready?
Go
Yes.
for it.
Chocolate,
Yes.
stand up.
What do you say? Stand up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Will the real chocolate please
Jump.
stand up?
Jump.
Oh my God. Bro,
That was
you
it.
guys are.
That was it. You just proved it.
That was it. Okay.
That was it. You just proved it.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
gravity pulled you
Go
up
up and
and
down.
down. That's the theory.
I guess that answers my question.
That's all you can do. Listen, this is it. Here it is. This is it. Okay, I've said this before. I'll say it again. You can know that you're spinning because you can't feel the spin. Okay.
Yep.
You know you're spinning
Yeah.
because you can't feel the spin. All right. Now, what proof do you have that there is mass attracting mass here on Earth? The only answer you can have is you, right there. You, man. You're proof right here.
Yeah.
You're standing on the
No.
Earth.
What
You
do you
have-
think?
you have-
What
you
do you
have-
think in
you
this
have to
video
have
is
this
making
There's
the
other ways to
balls?
do it.
Chris, shut the fuck up, Chris.
Can
Be
we?
quiet. Go
I mean,
away.
this speaks
Shut
to a
up.
different thing, which is very
Shut
interesting
the
to me.
hell up.
So you're saying essentially gravity is not real, okay? Is that correct, or am I wrong here?
That's correct.
Of course. Yeah.
But gravity is not real. So
I don't believe in the gravity that is told to me that can make planets orbit other planets or planets orbit stars.
pull
And
things down
I also
or anything like that.
Obviously,
again.
things
Yeah, I
go
agree
up
with
and
that.
down.
Okay,
You know.
good.
All
so,
right.
so if that is good, that's very interesting to me. That's what I'm. That's well, finally, it's something I want to know. Besides how you prove flat, but we're not getting anywhere there. So it's not gravity, okay? So
That's correct.
you jumped
Mhm.
well back to the ground where you were standing. Right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So you throw something, it falls back to the ground. You
Yeah.
take your phone, you flip it, and then it flips the monitor because it knows where down is, right? So you have all these things that know where is down. How do we know where is down? Like what's the thing that tells you this is down, and what is actually pulling you
Okay.
or pushing you down or whatever?
First of
All
all,
right.
Who cares?
Easy.
I don't
That's easy.
think
Hold on, Trev.
pers-
Let me answer. Let me
Okay.
answer. Who
Okay.
cares? Who cares? There's an up and there's a down.
well, because
Why
down
does
to
it need to be a
somebody
force? Who
down to
cares?
somebody on the other side of the planet is a different down than my down,
There's
right?
no other side of the planet, though.
Through the
Dude, I
heliocentric
know,
model, yes.
I know, dude, I know. That's part of the thing.
That's the thing
So
they
so
can't wrap their
down
heads
to
around.
somebody on the other side of the planet is my up,
So,
Correct.
AD,
right?
I will say this.
Like it's
You're saying they go down, and right, every single thing. So, based on what you think, where else will they go? Will they go up, sideways? Will they float? What do we do? What?
Sorry, I did not understand your question.
Yeah, you're saying.
look. Can I respond to AD about what I said before, real quick? I didn't mean to
Sure,
cut
sure.
you off, but while it's still in my head, I believe that I'm not going to begin to explain why down is down and why up is up. I don't
things
claim
fall
to
down.
know. I don't claim to know these things. I know that there is a down and there is an up. Now, I know that I'm also heavier than the air. So when I jump up, I'm not going to stay in the air. I'm going to come back down to whatever equilibrium it is that exists when I stand on the ground. Now, is there a force? Do I feel there's a force pulling me down? No. I don't think there's something pulling me down. Not while I'm on the ground, but when I'm in the air, you can argue that there might be a force, but I think it's just my weight bringing me back down to the ground.
Amen,
So
brother. Preach it.
if you bend
Preach it.
over, you don't feel like your upper body is pulled downwards? As an example,
My
like you pick
upper-
something up, you feel you
My
bend
upper
over, and
body-
you try to pick
my
something up,
upper
and your upper body
body-
is holding forward, like down.
That's your muscles, isn't it? They get tired, and it's
No,
the
it's
weight.
the feeling.
Yeah,
I'm
your
not talking
body.
about
because my
muscles or
body is
No,
not
it's
it is
feeling
it's out of
pulling
it's
down.
out of balance. So yeah,
Exactly.
I'm gonna
Your
feel
body
I'm gonna
is.
feel some type of weight going down because my upper body is heavier.
So you feel
Right.
something. You feel yourself being pulled down because you're out of balance. Is that
You don't feel pulling
that
down.
correct?
You just feel You don't feel pulling down. You feel your muscles get tired because it's carrying your weight out of balance. That's it.
Right. It's an issue of semantics, because when we say this thing is falling because it's heavy, and you say it's being pulled down, we're describing the same phenomenon.
Yeah, that's
But
it.
you're
That's
using
exactly
you're
it.
using different language that we are not going to use, okay? Because it's very loaded. There's nothing pulling us. There. Okay.
Good.
There. So
Very interesting.
So if
So
you
what is that loadedness, Lise? Like you just said, like
when you
this,
say
okay,
pulling,
you
when
don't
you
want to
say
use
pulling,
gravity. You don't want to use pulling, okay, and you don't want to use gravity. So still, the point is still the same. What is it then?
what is it
The
then? What?
density of the density of your mass is thicker than the air, and so it has to find a if you bend, your body is out of balance. Let's say your torso is out of balance.
I get that. Can you go back to what you just said about density?
Okay.
Yeah, your mass and density is thicker than the air. You know.
Okay, so it's density.
Heavier.
Heavier.
Yeah, of course.
Because you're heavier than the air.
Yeah.
What if you remove the air? And not
Huh?
you, but a bowling ball.
Okay. Listen.
No. Hold on. I know where he's going, and last time somebody else did this, and I'm gonna ask him because.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, no, you're gonna go with that video where they drop the feathers in the volleyball, and
No. I'm asking what you
that's
think
proof.
is influencing it, not the video. Fuck the video.
Well, density and mass, bro, it's heavier. They try to find their equilibrium, and so they
If
get
there
to
is no
something
air.
that is more. Huh?
Okay, density to have this thing with the equilibrium, as you say, you need, let's say, a bowling ball and air, because the bowling ball is heavier than the air, it would fall. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't have the air, density suddenly makes no thing because it has nothing to react against. So what's happening then? Because we still know if we put it in vacuum, it doesn't matter if it's a bowling ball, it can be anything small. You can put a mini vacuum chamber. If it drops, it drops down. So if there is no air, why would it still drop down? Because it needs a medium. that's
Right.
air. It always needs a medium because you throw a ball up, it falls down because it's heavier than the air. You throw a ball in the water, it stays floating because it's lighter than the water. But if
Hold on. So you suppose if you take the air, the ball is gonna just float in the air, or what? Do you need something to pull it down to the ground? Well, no. I'm asking now
yes,
you.
Because in that case, like, that is kind of curious. Like, do you think it should just float in the vacuum?
I do not know. That's why I'm asking. Because density requires a medium.
We know.
Can we agree on that?
Because I know there's no way a bowling ball, whether it's in a vacuum or not, is going to just hover in the air.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that's what I'm told would happen in outer space. But
there's no air.
Say that again.
If you're on the Earth, and you have a little chamber where you put a vacuum in, so there is nothing else in there but that bowling ball, and you drop it. Why does it drop?
Show me such
because there is no air going against it anymore. Because it has there's no density that it can react
now,
to.
Right, but again, you've now placed yourself within a man-made construct that doesn't exist. It's
No.
Like yes, it's just like the Cavendish experiment. The Cavendish experiment
don't exist?
No.
A place without air?
A vacuum.
Show me this vacuum chamber.
You cannot create a vacuum on Earth in a chamber.
Yes, you can.
That's exactly his point.
I'm sorry. Wait. Hold on.
That's not his point.
Hold on.
That's what I'm asking.
Hold on. I'm sorry. There was a key word in there that was, I think it's a verb, and it was create. Who's the subject of this? Who's the subject of the creation?
Sorry, your question does not really make any sense.
Who is doing the creating?
Who makes that chamber?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Human beings.
Okay. I started
As
off
they made the bowling ball.
Okay, I started off saying you have now changed the picture by bringing in something that man made. It's not in nature. It doesn't exist unless a man makes it. Just like the Cavendish experiment.
So? I have an answer for him.
Please go ahead.
What air does is only puts resistance on the mass, and if you take the air, if you take the air out of the place or whatever, it just is less resistance to the object. That's it.
That's right.
Really simple, man. It's really simple.
All you've done is changed one container full of water to a container full of air to a container with no air. It's the same concept.
Yeah, but the problem is with density. That's what I'm asking.
Unless you show me.
It requires a medium.
AD.
Because
unless you show me
something to compare against.
No. Whoa. Unless you show me an object. Unless you show me an object floating, then I will have something to compare, and I will have to come up with some theories. But otherwise, you have no grounds to ask us why it's pulling it down, because you haven't seen otherwise. You haven't seen an object floating. You haven't seen an object floating, right?
You're saying gravity doesn't exist. Okay, fine. Gravity doesn't exist. So now, if gravity doesn't exist and you jump and you fall back down, you throw something, it falls back down. You throw a ball, it comes down because of air is lighter than because the ball is heavier than the air. So and then you throw it in the water, and it's the ball is heavier, lighter than the water.
No. Not heavier than the air.
Denser.
Yeah, but not of the air. The air is just resistance. No, not the air doesn't dictate if you're going down or up. The air is just something else that exists. The weight, the weight. That's it. Do you suppose in your brain? Do you think things are gonna float? If something is not gonna pull it, are you telling me? Hold on. No. Hold on. Are you telling me that if I put a 80,000-pound truck in the air, in your head, if you need a force to pull that down to the ground again? Is that what you're telling me? You need force?
No, I have said no such thing.
Well, that's the assumption.
There we have one. Look, the very basic thing is this. You say gravity doesn't exist. Okay, let's run with this.
Yeah.
Then what is it that makes down down? That's the important
The
part
weight.
here. So
Okay,
if you say density, just a moment, please let me just finish this thought here. If it says density, then density requires a medium. Okay, so if you take out the air and then we don't have a medium, the ball still falls. We know that, we've seen that. You can try yourself if you don't believe me. It just happens. Okay, so if that still happens, and you say yourself, oh, it's not actually density that makes it go down, because it's just air creates some resistance and water creates some resistance.
No. It's the weight of the
but
thing.
when you go to weight, then you're actually invoking something really terrible.
Oh, well, I'm invoking your... Hold on.
Gravity.
No. See, I was going to get there. Now you're going to invoke again your gravity.
Yeah, but that's what
weight... No. For that, bro, you need to prove gravity for that. Otherwise, there's no gravity. And you cannot put words... If I say weight, you cannot tell me, oh, but that invokes gravity. No. I call bullshit. And until you prove...
I want to bring it down to a little bit more basic, if I can. So,
please do.
Again, the Cavendish, right, proves that mass attracts mass. I want to see that. Other than me jumping up and coming back down, I want to see that in real life, and we don't see that.
Very simple.
We don't see that anywhere in real life.
Because the force is so weak. It's so tiny.
And I understand it's so weak, and between those different masses, it's so weak. But between us and the Earth, it's so massive.
Yeah, Chocolate, don't hold your breath, brother.
Which tells me, huh?
Don't hold your breath. It ain't gonna happen.
Which tells me, like, I mean, when somebody like Cavendish does that experiment, and I've asked, how do they, discount? I mean, obviously you're doing an experiment. You want to account for all the variables, right? So how do you take out the variable of the actual gravity of the Earth?
That's what the
if
torsion...
you're doing the experiment on the Earth.
So torsion balance does.
Because, they're hanging.
Yeah, I've heard the torsion balance, and I've heard, it's because they make it perpendicular on a string, and it's just silly. I'm sorry, it just sounds silly to me.
And do you know why? Why it sounds silly? Hold on. You know why it sounds silly? Please demonstrate to me where that torsion bar exists in our world. Where does that exist?
That's always the problem that I come across. When I ask, where is this in real life, I never get a response to that.
The torsion bar only exists, is completely and only there to make it visible. Realize that. It's not doing anything to the attraction.
To make what visible?
To make the movement visible. To make sure, to remove variables on top of it.
You know what?
But when you're talking about removing variables, right? You don't account for the gravity of that's coming from the Earth itself, right? But these little balls in a shed, how does he account for that?
Because they're hanging.
You can't manipulate it in any way. You're still on the Earth. You're never going to negate gravity, right?
Perfect. That's perfectly fine. That's why they're hanging. That's why they're hanging, because they always will be attracted by the Earth. But if you bring them close enough, they will attract each other. So the torsion bar will move closer to them. And then, because there's so much only so much strength in this, because they're so tiny comparatively to Earth and everything, they will ease off again, but then they will go back in again. And there's this oscillation that happens.
So where does that happen in this world?
Yeah. Thank you.
Again, this is just the attraction. What I'm saying here is simply this is the experiment. This is what the experiment shows.
But this, yes, and I understand that. But
of the experiments,
you are creating an experiment that doesn't exist in this world. It doesn't. It doesn't exist.
Thank you, Travis.
Okay.
It's a ridiculous
Like I've asked one of the ballers because we
doesn't exist.
first off, can I ask you, how long have you been listening to this show?
Nathan Oakley?
Lithium?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
5 times maybe. Only off and on.
Oh, sorry. 5 times. You've heard like 5 shows.
Not the entire thing. Yeah, not the entire thing. Usually I just suddenly.
No, I'm
there's
saying
something
like
going on,
so you're pretty new, right? You're pretty new with
to
this.
this particular channel, perhaps. Yeah.
Okay. That's why when you brought up, and just to explain that's why when you brought up Cavendish, we kind of just all kind of lost it because we've just like pretty much destroyed this Cavendish experiment. With past discussions that we've had with most of the Globers that come on. So,
but again, how?
Okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how.
Can
You ready?
Propaganda. Period.
You ready?
Can you please tell me? I would like to have your opinion at this. So what you're saying to me is just to see if I correctly understand you. Please don't take it. I'm not putting words in your mouth. You're saying the Cavendish experiment does not work.
Yeah, let me explain this. Okay,
No.
Okay.
No.
What is it?
Travis, do you want to take this?
Does the Cavendish experiment shows this oscillation happening? Okay.
No.
That's all I'm saying. So, do you say this is not real? This does not happen. This is fake. This is whatever.
The margin of
Are you
error in
me
the Cavendish
that's not
experiment is ridiculously large, and the calculations based on the results, the supposed results that they have, are the most important calculations that you could ever have if you were going to build a model of the Earth. So,
yeah, but that's not how the model.
And it's not
is.
reproducible. It's not falsifiable.
Wait.
It's a ridiculous experiment.
You cannot do the Cavendish experiment.
Oh, sure, you
I just
can do
want
it.
I just
You
want to
can do
see it in real life.
It's like a parlor trick. Yeah.
When Mr. Cavendish over there decided to do this experiment, I want to know where he got it from. Did he just think, oh, I think some masses might be attracted to other masses, so I'll make this experiment and we'll see if that works?
What's the
Because
observation?
I want to know what he
question.
saw in real life that gave him the idea for this experiment to explain his hypothesis.
And why would a
Newton's
bar be the logical conclusion to help that?
Because you
He
know
based
what?
it on Newton's
If I was
physics.
walking around and I saw random things just orbiting other random things, and other random things sticking to other random things, because we all know gravity does whatever the hell it wants to do whenever it wants to do it.
It's very simple.
Yeah, that would give me
was
cause to
reading
do that
Newton.
experiment, but we don't see that at
me
all in
make
real life.
He was reading Newton, and he himself he would probably agree with you. Hey, we don't see this thing happening. So how could we create an experiment to
For
make
something that
sure
doesn't exist.
that doesn't happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
The-
How can we
the-
falsify? And that's Cavendish.
The reason why I don't trust the Cavendish experiment is because they all use metal stuff, and as you know, metal can become magnetized.
Okay. What
So
would not
that's
be?
why I don't. Huh?
What would not be magnetized?
Come here real quick.
Wood, I guess. Wood.
No.
Okay. Take massive wood pieces and small wood pieces.
I will do that, I guess. Yeah.
Please go ahead, do it.
I will.
Do it.
But then, yeah. I will do it. But till then, I don't trust the ones with metal.
Perfectly fine. You could use stone. You could use granite.
All right,
So
I would still
earlier-
like to know. Go ahead.
I was just going to say earlier this week, actually, I think it was yesterday, actually. No, maybe it was a couple days. Rumpus came on the show and we talked about Cavendish. I asked him the exact same thing that we brought up in this discussion. I said, what was your observation that prompted you to create this experiment? And
They don't
his
like answering that question.
Yeah, but his answer was just what I told Chocolate to do. Jump up and jump down. That shows. What does that show, Rumpus? That shows two objects of mass attracted to each other. No, it doesn't. You and I, Aletheum, you and I are going to observe the same phenomenon. Here we are, coconut falling from the tree. I'm back to it. You and I are on the island. We are drinking coconut water together, and we're so thankful that they fall from the tree. I say the coconut falls because it's heavy. You say the coconut falls because two objects are attracted to each other. And I say, where are you getting this idea of attraction? And you say, well, they fall to the coconut falls to the ground.
That's something you would have to ask Newton. He came up with the attraction of the bodies. That's where Cavendish got the idea from.
But the whole idea is
falsify it.
It's not.
How can you prove it's not gravity? How can you prove masses don't attract each other? Well, if they just stand there and do nothing forever, voila, there you proved it. Bodies don't attract each other. But then they did. So that's. I'm not saying that's the absolute definitive reason for everything, but just saying it's there.
I have a
Try it out yourself.
I have a question, man. I have a question.
Please go ahead.
Wouldn't that, based on that experiment, wouldn't that follow that we will see like stuff moving all over the places all the time?
That's what I always say.
I don't get
shouldn't
what
there be stuff orbiting
No,
other
here
stuff?
it is. Here it is. No, here it is. Gravity is not only the weakest force, it's also the strongest force. It knows just how much gravitational pull to put on a body of water to keep it in shape, but it also knows just how much. Oh man, I had this thought in my head of how funny this would be as like a almost like a sci-fi where this, you remember in Lost where the guy had to keep pushing the button to reset the clock and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
You've got someone at the controls of gravity pushing all of the buttons. Oh, there's a butterfly. Oh, there's a there's a bubble. Oh, there's a
You're talking about variable gravity.
There's a softball. Oh, blah, blah. Gravity knows just how much pressure to pull on a butterfly. And
on every single thing.
And right at the same time knows just how much pressure to pull on a grain of sand. And just at the great, it's amazing. It's amazing.
So are you asking why the grain of sand falls down and the butterfly doesn't?
Well, that being said,
is this your question? Are you asking this question?
No, I don't.
I think what he's trying to say is gravity does whatever it wants, whenever it wants to.
Because
it can affect everything differently, like magic.
According to the model, according to the scientific theory of gravity, and please don't go into the rabbit hole of a theory, I beg you. No, the last
hold on. We're supposed to take it as a scientific and let go of the theory. Is that what you're saying?
No, just don't focus on this theory bullcrap that people just want to go
down. Let's focus and that is real. Yeah.
That's the whole point. Is we're not trying to focus on the theories. We're trying to figure out what's going on.
Thank you. That's my point. So, in the scientific theory of gravity, it says that they attract each other according to their mass. So something massive, like the Earth, attracts quite a lot of things. The further away from the center of
Newtonian.
Yeah, Newtonian, Einsteinian, even, it doesn't matter. Just
Einsteinian is a different type of gravity, right?
Well,
I guess that's what you said. Though, let's not go into the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
I know.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Just ignore that part.
It's hard. My brain goes in different directions with this. So
yeah, it's hard enough to understand how the basics work. So
gravity is pulling your brain to different directions, man.
Yes, so.
Well, that would be interesting.
That darn gravity.
So gravity is based on the mass, and always goes to the center of mass. So Earth being massive, and us being tiny, and let's say water. Good example. Water is not the water, a massive clump of water, but it consists of lots and lots of tiny atoms, lots of little droplets, and so on and so on. It's not one thing, right? So, well, do you disagree?
Who told
AD.
disagree?
atom? Who told the atom at the center of the planet that it was the center of the planet and not the atom in the water? Who told those two atoms? Don't you now? You water atom, don't you be pulling everything to your center mass? Don't you do that?
It does. But there is
don't pull too hard in this one spot, otherwise, this plane might fall out of the sky or something. Be careful.
You know how Santa Claus can come down the chimney? Santa Claus can come down the chimney just the same way as when I put a hard-boiled egg at the top of a beaker when it's too small, and I light a match and burn something underneath it, and it burns all of the oxygen out and sucks him down. That's how Santa
you did
Claus
that.
gets him.
You did that
AD.
the wrong way.
AD, don't you see the ridiculous on all the things like how you call those people that are in the circus that do like they throw stuff? How you call those people?
Jugglers?
Yeah. Don't you see how ridiculous it is that all the however you call them, you have to go through like now you're saying like the gravity is making like every single particle in the water to take it as a single thing. I mean, it's so many.
That's what I'm saying. It's not.
No. But hold on. My point is that don't you see how ridiculous is how many things you have to say just to explain simple things, man. Simple. It's so simple. The problem is that you guys have created this model, and you have to make up excuses for every single thing that you see.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense.
Please, I would like to object to you guys, and I said it, and I say it again, and I will keep repeating it until it gets through to you. This is not my model. I have studied the crap out of this thing, and I can because I'm fucking getting information every which way, shoved sideways from every direction.
No, man.
Gravitationally pull into me. But I'm not getting that from the flat Earth. That is my problem.
No. You're not thinking.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, but you're not thinking.
You understand that there is no science to flat Earth, right? You understand that we are basically out here doing this ourselves, just trying to observe reality. We don't have textbooks for us. We don't have people teaching classes about flat Earth.
Completely understood.
Yeah. And by
you understand
what is
that.
it when you say science
teachers
there?
in classrooms and textbooks and billions of
I'm sorry.
spent to educate
Well,
people.
because most people
you messed up right there, man. You say there's no science in the flat Earth, but I think we have all the. Yeah, I think we have all the science on our side.
No, we do. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. We don't have mainstream science.
I told Anthony that he has to qualify it. He won't do it.
Yeah. We don't have mainstream science on our side telling us that we live in what we believe we live on.
Yeah, I completely understand. And
if I look
agree.
up a science textbook right now, it's going to beautifully illustrate to me how I live on a spinning water ball.
Yes, perfectly fine. What I'm saying is when you go about it, right? You still apply the scientific method because that's a method to find the truth, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't have anything to do with the rest of it. It's just the way, a tool to get to a truth that is not depending on your biases. That is neutral.
But when I continue to find flaws in what is told to me to be true, at what point should I start saying, "Hey, there's something wrong with this"? Right.
So you're saying the scientific method.
I have to have some type of intellectual honesty with myself. I don't believe in bullshit. I can't stand being full of shit. So when I'm looking at something and it does not make sense to my common sense brain, I have to question it.
Okay. My question remains.
Yes,
scientific method.
Of course, say that again.
Is the scientific? Do you believe using the tool of the scientific method?
Of course. Why
can
not?
help to arrive to a conclusion for the flat Earth?
Yeah,
AD.
but we don't test models.
AD, I have a question because you say we cannot trust our senses.
I want to know what you mean by for the flat Earth. Like, what do you?
The scientific method is a tool, like a hammer. You have a nail. You want to nail go the way into that. Then put a piece of wood. You clobber it over the head, and boom, it goes away. Hammer to the rescue. It's a tool. Scientific method is a tool in order for you to arrive at something that is as close as we can get it to the truth, or at least, as with everything we know, is currently the truth. That's what the scientific method does. It removes biases. It makes it.
See, when you say everything we know, we know, there are certain people, when I ask them what is everything we know, what they will tell me is we live on a ball. We know we do. That's the problem.
So
and if I were to tell them I don't believe we live on a spinning magical water ball, they would look at me like I'm crazy. So like I'm saying, there's no mainstream science on our side. There are no scientists coming out.
Has nothing to do with mainstream science, has nothing to do with scientists in general. The scientific method as a tool, is that even applicable? Can we use this to find truth?
Yeah. Why wouldn't we be able to use the scientific method for anything?
AD, will you take the globes that they send up in the sky and they don't see curvature? Will you take that we can the so-called boats? I say, will you take the globes that they send up in the sky high, and we don't see any curvature as a proof of science, of scientific evidence that there's no curvature?
Globe? What?
You mean the balloons?
The globes, the balloons. Yeah, sorry. Balloons.
Okay, sorry. Okay, it's like what? Sorry. Globes? What were you doing? Okay, sorry. Yeah. Those weather balloon things are a little bit tricky.
Not for us.
Does it really look tricky?
There's multiple issues.
It looks. No, do you know why they're tricky?
Hold on. Yeah.
You need to have a correct height in order to be able to see the supposed curve. Okay?
What is the correct height?
No idea, top of my head. As I said.
Okay.
It doesn't.
So you have a problem with something.
Based on the numbers that are in the model, you could figure out how high you have to be.
Yeah, but you don't know the numbers, but you have a problem.
I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. Well, I don't know the numbers off my head.
And you have a problem.
Do you know you have a problem.
Well, we're told different numbers all the time, but
that was my point.
But the correlation that I have, the problem is, I'm told I'm seeing curvature supposedly the horizon is supposed to be like 3 miles away from me, and that's a boat disappearing over that curve. But I see a weather balloon, or one of those balloons that's up there at 120,000 feet, and there's no curvature. There's no curvature whatsoever.
Hang on a second. 120,000. That's, I think, 1 foot is 30 centimeters or something like that. So divided by 30, that's 4,000 kilometers, I guess.
Yeah, I apologize.
No.
I gotta
What's
all
the
right,
point?
man.
What's your point on that?
All right.
Converting.
Yeah. Good discussion, though.
Oh no, wait. That's centimeters.
I think Ethereum is going to come around.
4 kilometers.
Talk to you guys later.
All right, bro. Have a good one.
All right.
Just trying to figure this out, right? If you go at a height and you're not high enough to actually see the curvature, what have you proven? Nothing.
Well, the problem is that
what do you mean nothing?
Most guys that believe in the heliocentric model will tell me I can look out a plane and see curvature.
Oh, all right. So, I have a question regarding this. Who's gonna decide at what altitude we're supposed to see the curvature?
6 kilometers is that.
You understand my problem? Like when I'm told that I can look out a plane window and see curvature. When personally I don't think I see curvature at all, but that's what I'm told I can see. But
I
at
can't see
120, and that would be at what?
That's 30,000
feet.
40,000, yeah, something like that.
Between 35 40,000 feet. but yet somebody
It's a third.
sends
It's 10 kilometers.
a balloon. Somebody sends a balloon to 120,000 feet, and there's not the slightest bit of curvature. Now, if it was just one example, I would say that that's just off the wall. But there's a few examples of that.
You want to know something crazy?
There's many examples. Yeah.
Please go ahead.
I had someone post on Facebook a picture of a guy on Mount
Everest.
Mount
I've seen
Everest.
it with the curve.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Right, and they're serious. So
Bro,
if I go up,
I had a thread that lasted about 7 days on that very picture. Somebody posted that like as a joke, and literally, like we went, and I was the only flat earther, and I was going against all the globe believers who thought that actually proved that we live on a globe, and I'm like, you guys, you can't be this ridiculous.
You can't see that as altitude.
And then if you get into an airplane and go 10,000 feet higher, the curve's gone.
Gone, absolutely gone, because curve does what it wants. It's like gravity. Disappears when it wants.
You cannot see it on Earth. If you are on Earth, like standing with your feet on Earth, even on Mount Everest, you cannot see it. I know that's not high enough. I don't know the number exactly how high it has to be for you to be able to see it. But there is.
So then, how can I see a boat disappear over the horizon?
That's entirely
different. Travis,
would be interested what you have to say about that.
Yeah, what's up?
I have had arguments with my family about this, and the first thing I ask them, because usually most of the people, like every single person that you try to argue about this stuff, the first question I ask them is, what's the formula for the curvature? And nobody knows, man. Nobody knows. And what I tell them is, hey, go research this, and then you come and argue with me. Before you even look at stuff like this, don't tell me that about the flat being a globe and
because
stuff. You know,
normal people aren't thinking about curve calculations. You don't start.
Well, they don't know anything.
That type of thing. Yeah, you don't know it. I didn't know the curve calculator until I got into the flat Earth.
Yeah,
I didn't know there was such a thing. I didn't think there was something applicable for me to have to calculate the curve of the Earth, because it was just a given to me, because I never thought about it. I just thought I lived on a ball.
That's my point. That people don't know any of the what they believe, and they argue as if they knew everything
how many people
about.
Do need to know the what the formula of the curvature is for the Earth in their daily life?
If you're gonna argue, at least you gotta know that, right? If you if you're gonna tell me, hold on, if you're gonna tell me, hey, a boat, I can see a boat going on the horizon. That's pretty relevant.
Because that story we're told when we're kids.
I know.
We're told that Columbus saw, boats go over the curve, and we live on a ball. Okay, that's a story we're told as kids. We're not told anything about the curve calculations and the formula. We're not told anything like that. We're just told boats disappear over a curve. That's how we know we live on a ball. The Earth is flat.
I told you that.
People used to think the Earth is flat, but they were stupid. So don't listen to that. And listen to us. That's what it comes down to. I told you
that's my theory, how they went so wrong. So I think they started with that assumption, right? They saw boats going on the horizon.
Yep.
So here comes this guy, and he does what is Aristophanes?
Eratosthenes.
And
that was wrong before.
And my God, man. All right, who was it? And how long before? How?
2000 BC or so? No, wait.
Talking about the sticks and shadows.
BC. Before Christ, something. Yeah.
250 BC.
Who?
Thank you. 250 BC. That was Aristophanes.
Yeah, but he did it with the measurement of the sun, right? The
shadows.
One pole in one place and the other one on another place, right?
One was a pole, the other one was a well or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, he did the maths based on the assumption that they see boats going off the horizon. So that was the first assumption, and from that point, they did all the maths wrong. So let me finish my point. And so he did the maths, and he calculated the circumference of the Earth. So now you have another problem. You start thinking, okay, so if we live in a ball, why the people on the bottom doesn't fall away? So you need to create something to explain that phenomena. And what that explanation is gravity. All right. Gravity. So and if you think about it, we got to this point right now where they cannot take it back. But we got technology that we can see. Hold on. We got technology nowadays that we can see the boats back into perspective, and we can refute the first assumption.
No. Have you watched personally?
Huh?
Have you watched one of these personally? Have you stood at the shore with something that has a high magnification and watched a boat go over the horizon? Whatever actually happens, but have you watched it until it disappears? Have you done that yourself?
Yeah. I live in Michigan. Yes, I have. Plenty of places you can see boats go away.
Why can't you do that with the sun?
With what?
The sun. When the sun sets, why can't you bring the sun back into with a high focus camera?
Good question. No, it doesn't work with the boat either. The boat.
I know it doesn't. I know it doesn't.
Mark, my initial response would be that we're talking about the physical phenomenon of the horizon, and the sun is elevated, so it's not the same dynamic.
Well, it's not. It's not really, is it? Because the sun touches the horizon, and it goes below the horizon from our perspective. The same as a boat disappears bottom up, the sun does exactly the same thing, and we're told by flat earthers that the reason you can't see it anymore is because it's slowly gone out of view. So if that's true, why can't you zoom it back in with a camera?
Sounds like a
okay. Let me answer. Are you, Mark? Are you the kind of people that thinks that we should see China with a telescope or something like that?
If there was no obstruction, there's no reason why you couldn't see China with a telescope. Yeah.
All right. Do you understand perspective? Do you understand how small something would be at that distance?
What, the city of China, the country of China would be too small to see.
Yeah. It will be a point. It will be a dot.
Right. So how can we see the moon then?
Huh?